Welcome to the fantasy audiobook, Awakening of the Whole People. This treatment has 100 million fierce points. Chapter 1. By you. Stand up for me. In the classroom, the teacher's voice suddenly stopped, and an angry roar resounded through the entire teaching building. With a roar, a piece of chalk accurately landed on Bai Yu's head. Bai Yu, who was sleeping on the table, was woken up by the chalk head, rubbed his sleepy eyes, looked up at the angry face of the teacher on the podium, and stood up naturally. Obviously, this is not the first time for him. Bai Yu, I just want to ask you, is it that difficult to listen carefully to the class? I know that I go to class and sleep every day. Did you steal cows at night? Old Wu stood on the podium, with a look of hatred on his face, and stared at Bai Yu. His eyes were about to burst into flames. What you're talking about is the theory of the combat system, and I can't use it. Bai Yu muttered, a little unconvinced. Although the voice was low, but now that the teacher got angry, the other students were silent. In the unusually quiet classroom, Bai Yu's voice clearly reached Lao Wu's ears. It's useless. Why is it useless? It's true that you belong to the healing system, but who told you that healing doesn't belong to the combat system? The so-called know yourself, know your enemy, and win every battle. The healing system is the key to the battle. As long as there is a healer in the team, it will be listed as a priority target. You don't know what kind of means others will use to deal with you, and you can't even escape. Clear. Healing won't kill you, and half of the team battle will be lost. Don't you understand such a simple truth? No wonder old Wu was so angry. Bai Yu was originally an orphan and grew up in an orphanage. It was old Wu who found out that he was a healer, so he tried his best to get him over from the director of the orphanage. In the end, Bai Yu had such an attitude. But there is a reason why Bai Yu is like this, because he feels that he has no chance to go to the battlefield. It's true that he is a healer, but what's the use of a healer without healing skills on the battlefield? Send ahead. Since the mysterious system descended on Blue Star 100 years ago, mankind has entered an era of national awakening. No matter who you are or what your status is, once you reach the age of 16, you will definitely awaken. As for the ability to awaken, it depends on the individual. Someone awakens the ability to breed, then he is good at raising pigs, cattle and chickens. The animals he breeds are not only delicious, but also will not get sick. Those who awaken their planting ability will have several % higher yields than others when farming. In addition to life skills, of course there will be fighting ability. After entering the era of national awakening, the situation among countries in the world has also become tense, and conflicts will break out at every turn. The reason is because of grades. The advent of the mysterious system turned Blue Star into a world like an online game. Humans have levels, and beasts also have levels. And the way to level up is to fight. The actual combat training in the school can gain experience and upgrade the level. Fighting in the arena can also gain experience and upgrade the level. Life and death fights in the wild can also gain experience and upgrade levels. In short, as long as there is a battle, you can get experience points, and the amount of experience points depends on the intensity of the battle. If you defeat your opponent, you can get 5 experience points, and if you kill your opponent, you may get 20 points. The stronger the opponent's strength, the higher the experience value provided. As the conflict continues to escalate, it has begun to evolve into a small-scale war. Therefore, all countries are constantly cultivating fresh blood, and combat lessons have long been regarded as the main subject in schools. Old Wu is a teacher of Wucheng No. 3 Middle School, a person with fire ability, level 39, prefecture level, and his full name is Wu Shushan. Many students secretly made fun of his name behind his back. Looking at Chang'an from the northwest, poor Wu Shushan. After Lao Wu scolded Bai Yu a few words, he thought of his unfortunate life experience, sighed slightly, and planned to let Bai Yu go after a little warning. Bai Yu, come up, tell everyone a joke, refresh yourself. Bai Yu had no choice but to leave his seat and walk up to the podium slowly. However, he was being punished, and it was not something to be happy about. How could he be in the mood to tell a joke? There was no movement on Lian Bai Yu's podium for a long time, and Lao Wu was about to say something, but a voice came from below. What a joke, isn't he the biggest joke? A healer who doesn't know how to heal. Ha ha ha. Hearing this voice, Lao Wu and Bai Yu both frowned and looked over. The one who spoke was the thorn in the class, named Lin Zhang, who had the same fire ability as old Wu. Although his level was not high, he couldn't even get a grade. But the fire element, the thunder element, these two well-known attacking elements have always been very popular. Lin Zhang also seemed a little arrogant because of this. In the class, except for the teacher who can say a few words about him, he would not accept anyone else. As for Bai Yu, who is obviously useless, but has been enjoying the treatment of generous resources, he is even more dismissive. Healing has always been a very rare occupation. More importantly, in this online game-like world, many things are really like online games, except that you cannot return to the city to revive after death. And the only one with resurrection ability is the healing profession. It can be said that having a friend of the healing department is equivalent to more lives. Not to mention the resurrection technique, just the ordinary healing technique, when you need it most, it can save your life. It's a pity that they are still students now. They haven't stepped into the society, and they haven't been exposed to war, so they can't experience the benefits of treatment at all. Although the teacher has repeatedly emphasized the importance of treatment. But how many students can listen to the teacher's words? Just like the teacher always asks you to study hard. Most students, after hearing it, forget it. Lin Zhang's ridicule caused the students in the class to burst into laughter. However, not everyone, there is still one person who didn't laugh. She is Luo Shui, one of the beauties in Bai Yu's class. Luo Shui didn't smile. Naturally, it wasn't because she had any special feelings for Bai Yu, and she didn't smile very much herself. At least Bai Yu had never seen her smile. She is like an iceberg that will not melt for thousands of years, with a cold expression on her face all the time. Bai Yu was being ridiculed at this time, so naturally he had no time to look at the beauty. He lowered his head, clenched his teeth, clenched his fists, his nails were almost piercing into his flesh. However, he was powerless to refute. Lin Zhang was right, he was just a joke. What's the use of a healer who doesn't know healing skills? Perhaps he shouldn't have listened to old Wu's tricks, and shouldn't have come to this school. At this moment, what appeared in Bai Yu's mind was the orphanage where he had lived for more than 10 years. The elderly and kind dean, and those lovely brothers and sisters. In fact, Bai Yu has had this idea more than once, but this time it is stronger. In the afternoon, Bai Yu didn't go to class, but wandered out of the school alone, and walked towards the orphanage more than 10 kilometers away from the school. Red Hill Orphanage. Its name has no special meaning, just because the road in front of it is called Hongshan Road. The dean of the orphanage is called Bai Qian. In his 60s, his hair and beard are mostly gray, but he doesn't look old at all. This orphanage was founded by Bai Qian. His family has fixed assets, which are enough for the daily expenses of the orphanage. Coupled with some donations from the society, the children here live well. Apart from Bai Qian, there is only one nurse in the entire orphanage, but every day some caring people come to volunteer, and they are too busy. At this time, a dozen or so children were happily playing games. Suddenly, a little girl found something and immediately ran out of the team and ran towards the door. He still shouted loudly, "Brother Bai Yu! Brother Bai Yu is back!" Just as Bai Yu walked to the door, a small figure threw himself into his arms. "Yo, it's Bai Ling." Bai Yu reached out and touched the little girl's head. Except for a very small number of children in the orphanage who already had names, the others were given names by Bai Qian after picking them up, so naturally they took his surname Bai. Bai Yu felt that Bai Qinhei's name selection was a bit level. Bai Ling with a pair of bright eyes. The white rain and white snow picked up in rainy and snowy days respectively. Although it is named after what it sees, it is also very nice. If Bai Yu were to be named, it would probably be called Bai Yan, Bai Shui, Bai Leng. There is also a reason for Bai Yu's name. According to Bai Qian, when he picked up Bai Yu, there were a few birds on him. After being startled away by the approaching Bai Qian, he left a few feathers behind, so he named it Bai Yu. If you let Bai Yu take it by himself, forget it, don't mention it. Brother Bai Yu, Brother Bai Yu. After Bai Ling, a large group of little kids also ran over, surrounding Bai Yu. Bai Yu is still very popular because every time he comes back, he will bring some sweets to these younger brothers and sisters. This time is no exception. Although he was a little lost along the way, he still didn't forget about it. He took out a handful of candies from his pocket and divided them. A group of children, now that they have sweets, they are no longer attached to Bai Yu, and they run away to continue playing with themselves. Bai Yu walked into the orphanage. Xiao Yu is back. In the yard, Bai Qian was lying on a recliner, looking at the children who were having fun, with a kind smile on his face. He didn't have much pursuit in this life, just watch these helpless children grow up safely and happily. But Bai Yu's return made him a little surprised. It's not the weekend, so Bai Yu should be in school. Yes, Grandpa Dean. Bai Yu found a clean stone on the side and sat down. Why are you free today? Bai Qian asked. I don't have class this afternoon, I miss everyone, so come back and have a look. When the words came to his lips, Bai Yu swallowed them back. The children of poor families have already taken charge of their families, and Bai Yu, who grew up in an orphanage, is naturally more sensible. He just feels a little wrong now, but he doesn't want to bring this wrong back to the orphanage. This is the only piece of pure land in his heart. Even though I was extremely wronged, after seeing the innocent smiling faces of my brothers and sisters, it almost disappeared. Well, you don't have to run back all the time, young people, you should still have some social activities of your own. You don't have to take back the money given to you by the school. You can spend it yourself. The courtyard is not short of this money. As the only therapy department in Wucheng No. 3 middle school, Bai Yu's salary is really good. After all fees are waived, the school will send him some money every month as a subsidy. This is one of the reasons why he is jealous of other students. And Bai Yu was reluctant to spend the money, and would send the money back to the orphanage every month, leaving only a small part, and he was still reluctant to spend it, so he bought candy for the little ones. Understood, Grandpa Dean. Bai Yu didn't refute, and nodded in agreement. In the afternoon, Bai Yu stays in the orphanage, chatting with the headmaster, playing games with the children, and helping with chores. Before he knew it, the afternoon passed by, and it was time for Bai Yu to go back to school after dinner. Anger is only temporary. What should be done or what should be done after being angry? Bid farewell to the dean, and a group of children who were reluctant to leave Bai Yu embarked on the way back to school. As night falls, it's time for the school's evening self-study to begin. However, as a power user after awakening, he is not interested in evening self-study, and those who can find a way to escape will try their best not to go to evening self-study. And the ones who did the most thorough work had to be Yan Yan and Luo Shui. The two of them rented a room directly off campus. Ordinarily, high school students would not be so extravagant, and even if they wanted to, their family might not be willing. But Yan Yan did just that, and even pulled in Luo Shui, who had the best relationship with her. Many people wonder why Luo Shui, who is an ice-type capable user, has such a good relationship with Yan Yan, who is a fire-type capable person. Yan Yan chooses to rent a house off campus. Apart from being able to avoid evening self-study, more importantly, she can go racing. Drag racing is Yan Yan's favorite, the feeling of speeding like lightning, not to mention how exciting it is. Slow down, Yan Yan. Luo Shui's small face wearing a helmet was tightly attached to Yan Yan's back, her already white face, perhaps because of fright, looked even whiter. Don't worry, there is no one on this road at night, and there is no monitoring, so you won't be fined. Yan Yan didn't realize at all that Luo Shui told her to slow down because she was afraid. Yan Yan has long wanted to take Luo Shui to drag racing together, but unfortunately Luo Shui is not interested in the comparison. This time, Luo Shui agreed to come out with Yan Yan after a long time of indulging in it. On the dark and empty road, a motorcycle roared like a beast. Amidst the roar of the engine, it flew by at a speed of at least 150 yards. 150 yards, for the people in the car, it doesn't feel much. The windshield separates the oncoming wind, and the human body in the car can't feel the feeling of being crumbling in the wind. But riding a motorcycle is different, the feeling of being thrown out if you don't pay attention, even the driver can't feel it. Yan Yan was indulging in the excitement brought by the extreme speed, and she had no chance at Luo Shui's suggestion to slow down. Accidents happen all the time, just in different places. At this time, an accident appeared in front of Yan Yan. Yan Yan did not know how many times she ran this road, and there will be no one here at night. She came to the conclusion after so many times, so she dared to go so fast. But today, there was an accident. A figure came out from the side of the road. After seeing the dazzling headlights, he was obviously stunned, and just stood there motionless. Amidst the piercing sound of tires rubbing against each other, Yan Yan slammed on the brakes and stopped a few meters away from the number of people. But before she had time to rejoice, she heard Luo Shui's scream behind her. The speed of the car was too fast and the inertia was too great. Although Yan Yan stopped the car, Luo Shui, who was unprepared, was thrown out. Feeling flustered, Luo Shui directly activated her talent skill, elementalization, and turned her whole body into an ice lump. After awakening, the awakened person will have a talent skill, and the talent skills are different according to different attributes and characteristics. The elemental ones basically turn the body into elements, the strength ones strengthen one's own strength, the animalization ones transform into half-orcs, and the healing ones self-heal. This is also the reason why Bai Yu has no skills, but still knows that he is a healing department. Talent skills basically only work on themselves. Awakening skills can only be used on others. With the blessing of talent skills, Luo Shui turned into an ice crystal beauty with an ice blue luster, but unfortunately no one has time to watch it now. Luo Shui drew a perfect parabola in the air, and precisely landed on the figure that suddenly appeared. Hearing a loud bang, Luo Shui and that figure hit the road together, then rolled forward a few times, and after falling ice scum all over the floor, Luo Shui stood up as if nothing had happened. Huh, why doesn't it hurt? After getting up, Luo Shui said to herself. Shui, are you okay? Terrified, Yan Yan stopped the car and ran over quickly. I'm fine. Luo Shui shook her head. Yan Yan also heaved a sigh of relief when she heard that Luo Shui was fine. At this moment, she remembered the figure that suddenly appeared. Under the illumination of the car lights, the road was very bright, and the figure could be seen lying motionless on the ground, as if dead. Because of the angle, the face could not be seen. Yan Yan was more courageous and walked over. Bai Yu. Amidst Yan Yan's exclamation, Luo Shui also ran over quickly, and saw Bai Yu lying on the road with a painful expression on his face, but his eyes were closed tightly. He won't die, will he? Luo Shui still has some idea of how much she weighed after elementalization. At the speed just now, hitting Bai Yu directly was not much less powerful than a direct collision with a motorcycle. Then what should we do? Or, drag him up the mountain and bury him. ... After Bai Yu came out of the orphanage, he walked to school with his ham again. He didn't have the habit of taking a taxi, he thought it was too expensive. It's more than 10 kilometers away, and it takes at least 20 taxis, which is enough for him to buy a lot of sugar. Borrowing the hazy moonlight, Bai Yu walked alone in the dark. When I was about to cross the road, I heard the roar of the engine. But he didn't pay much attention to it. Even if there was a car, it wouldn't be too fast at night, so he planned to stand still and let the car pass by first. As a result, there was an ear-piercing sound of sudden braking, and then, a black shadow drew an arc from the air, and hit him accurately. Bai Yu only felt that he was hit by a speeding train, and his whole body was in severe pain. After falling to the ground, even moving his fingers was in excruciating pain, so he couldn't move at all. At the same time, the prompt sound of the mysterious system suddenly sounded. He heard this voice when he was awakened. System prompt. Unknown data detected, transferring to the experimental area. Successful transfer, matching experimental data. Bai Yu remembered that when he was awakening, it was also this cold, mechanical female voice who spoke. However, the system prompt at that time said that the data was disordered, so he didn't have the awakening skill. The system disorder at the beginning was equivalent to excluding Bai Yu from the system, so now that he reconnects to the system, he will be judged as unknown data and thrown into the experimental area. At this moment, information finally appeared on Bai Yu's blank panel. Name: Bai Yu. Level: 4. Grade: None. Attribute: Healing. Skill: Self-healing. Talent skill: Recover from injuries faster than ordinary people. Transformation talent skill: Every time a target is healed, part of the residual strength of its injury can be transformed into its own strength. Rejuvenation awakening skill: Heals a single target, can recover non-fatal injuries, and needs to touch the target. Bai Yu was taken aback by the panel attribute that suddenly appeared. Double talent, this has never been heard of. Could it be that this is the treatment only available in the experimental area? Before Bai Yu figured out the situation of his attribute panel, he heard two girls beside him discussing how to deal with him. After one said a sentence at the beginning, he stopped talking, and the other was always talking. What, dragged the mountain and dug a hole and buried it? Throwing it into the pile of beasts creates a leveling accident. Or just leave it where it is, there is no monitoring anyway. Hearing this voice, Bai Yu felt a little familiar, and then remembered that it was the voices of Yan Yan and Luo Shui, two beauties in the class. It turned out to be them. I think I can still save it. Bai Yu felt that if he kept silent, they would probably take action. Huh, not dead yet. This is Yan Yan's voice. It sounds like a little disappointed. It's good if you don't die. Luo Shui breathed a sigh of relief. Although with the development of the era of national awakening, the law has also made corresponding changes, but murder has never been allowed by the law. Can you give me a hand? Put my hand on my stomach. Bai Yu said. Rejuvenation requires contact with the target before it can be used, including when using it on yourself. Now he has almost comminuted fractures all over his body, and he can't move at all, so naturally he can't heal himself. Take it easy. Bai Yu felt someone grabbing his hand and moving it, but this slight movement made him feel a piercing pain. He tried his best to open his eyes, and saw that Yan Yan was squatting beside him, holding his hand. Pain is pain, my hand touched my stomach anyway. Miracle rejuvenation. After the skill was activated, the pain on his body gradually disappeared. However, the body is warm, and I don't know if it is the effect of the treatment. Two beauties, can you help me? Bai Yu said to Luo Shui and Yan Yan. Help you? I think it's better to forget it. If you are like this, I'm afraid I will help you to death. I'd better call an ambulance. Bai Yu has been lying on the ground without moving, and the specific injury cannot be judged, so Yan Yan naturally dare not rush to help. I don't need an ambulance. I am a healer myself. My injury is almost healed, but I can't move. Bai Yu said. Huh, is your talent so powerful? He was still looking like he was going to die just now, why did he suddenly say he was fine? Yan Yan felt a little unbelievable. It's not a talent skill, it's an awakening skill. I have an awakening skill. Bai Yu explained. You have awakening skills, that's a good thing. Then since you're already healed, get up, is it cool on the ground? Yan Yan of the fire element is more outgoing and lively, and talks a lot, unlike Luo Shui, who hardly speaks. I remembered, but I just got cured, and I can't move around, so I asked you to help. Well, it's probably like a piece of broken porcelain, and now I've glued it together, but the glue is not dry yet. This description of Bai Yu is very apt. The bones of his whole body are really like the porcelain that has just been glued. If you go to the hospital to take an X-ray, you will see the complete bones. But let him do the movements, and the bones will break again because they can't bear the strength of the muscles. That's it, then okay. We are all classmates, and the accident was caused by Yan Yan and the others, so I feel guilty. Even Luo Shui, who usually doesn't have much contact with people, came up to help. The two of them, one on the left and one on the right, helped Bai Yu up from the ground. Ouch, take it easy. There were crisp sounds of bones breaking, and although Bai Yu was supported to stand up, Luo Shui and Yan Yan broke several bones in his body again. Hurry up and give myself another magic hand rejuvenation, which relieves the pain. Sorry. The two quickly apologized. Bai Yu was in so much pain that he broke out in a cold sweat. They naturally wouldn't think that Bai Yu was pretending to be pitiful to win their sympathy. It's okay, let's continue. I can't use any strength now, I can only trouble you two. Smelling the fragrance coming from around him, he didn't dare to move his drooping hand, because now his hand was on the chest of the two of them. If he moved it and touched something that shouldn't be touched, he would definitely be caught. Throw it here. Seeing Bai Yu sticking there like a log, the two women had no choice but to put Bai Yu into the car. During this process, Bai Yu felt pain and joy. He didn't dare to use force all over his body, and all his weight was on the bodies of the two women. The process of helping him into the car inevitably bumped and bumped, but it was also beautiful. It's just that Bai Yu regretted that he had rejuvenated himself just now. Because, in the process of getting into the car, he was broken a few more bones. Bai Yu decided not to treat the pain before he settled down. At least he should leave a trace of spiritual power and heal him later. In order to fix Bai Yu's body, Yan Yan had no choice but to let him lie on her back, and then Luo Shui sat at the end, sandwiching Bai Yu in the middle like a sandwich biscuit. Don't move your hands, or I'll chop it off. On the way back, Bai Yu's drooping hand kept shaking back and forth, sweeping across Yan Yan's and Luo Shui's thighs. The weather has been getting hotter recently, and both women are wearing shorts, with their snow-white thighs exposed. Luo Shui blushed and didn't speak, but Yan Yan couldn't help it. The itching and numbness when Bai Yu's hand brushed her thigh made her very uncomfortable. I don't want to, but it doesn't obey. The conscience of heaven and earth. It's not that Bai Yu wants to take advantage of the opportunity, just now his arm was broken by Yan Yan, and now it is hanging powerlessly by his side, he can't control it at all. Yan Yan, who knew Bai Yu's situation, stopped talking and concentrated on driving. Soon, they came to the place where the two girls lived. With Bai Yu like this, he can only stay here temporarily. They were not at all afraid of the danger of bringing a boy home. It's just a broken treatment, and it's really effective, but in terms of combat effectiveness, whoever makes a move between the two of them can beat Bai Yu to the ground in minutes. The house that Yan Yan rented was quite spacious. Apart from their respective rooms, there were 2 vacant rooms, one of which was temporarily occupied by Bai Yu. Finally lying on the bed, Bai Yu used the last ounce of spiritual power to rejuvenate and heal his broken bones. Now as long as you lie down and don't move, it will be back to normal after a period of time. From this point of view, Bai Yu's healing skills do not seem to be very powerful, and he needs to rest after heals. But Bai Yu is only at level 4 now, and his skills have just awakened, so it's okay if he's not strong enough. Besides, Bai Yu's healing skills start to heal from the root. Although it seems to take effect slowly, it will not leave sequelae. That night, Bai Yu kept this posture and slept all night. Are you dead? Do you want to go to class? Early in the morning, Yan Yan pushed open the door of the room and took a look at Bai Yu, who hadn't even changed her posture. You guys go, I have to take it easy, and ask for a vacation for me by the way. Bai Yu woke up when Yan Yan opened the door, but he still didn't move. In fact, after a night of hard work, his injuries have almost healed, but his body is a little stiff after maintaining this kind of movement all night. Yan Yan didn't ask any further questions, closed the door, and went to school with Luo Shui. After they left, Bai Yu tried to move his body and got up from the bed. He didn't go to school because he wanted to use today's time to get a better understanding of his physical changes. During the first treatment last night, Bai Yu felt that warm feeling. At first, Bai Yu thought it was the effect of the healing technique, but now Bai Yu found that his physical fitness seemed to have happened. Changes, he felt that his strength seemed to be much stronger than before. At this time, Bai Yu remembered his second talent. Transformation. Every time the target is healed, the remaining power that caused its injury can be transformed into its own power. Bai Yu felt that his sudden increase in strength must be due to this innate skill. Needless to say, how strong was the impact when I was hit? My whole body was broken, even if I was hit by a train. Although most of the power disappeared after the impact, some of it still remained. When I was healing, the talent skill took effect and converted these powers. Later, when Yan Yan and the others crushed their bones, they didn't use much force, but because their bones hadn't recovered to their original strength, the remaining strength was very little, and the transformed strength was naturally even less. However, it is already very good now. Bai Yu feels that now his strength is no worse than that of the strength department of the same level, and it is no problem to kill a cow with one punch. The more he thought about it, the more excited he became. Bai Yu punched towards the wall beside him. Ah! After a cry of pain, the wall was not smashed into a big hole as Bai Yu had predicted, but Bai Yu's hand broke again due to excessive force. It wasn't because Bai Yu's body couldn't bear too much force, but because he miscalculated his own strength. The power of this transformation came too suddenly, without a process of adaptation. Although the improvement was not much, it gave Bai Yu an illusion that he was already extremely powerful. If the strength is gradually exercised, then the increase in strength does not feel very strong. But this sudden increase in power will give people the feeling that it has been increased several times. But in fact, the increased power is only a few % of the original. The increase in strength naturally also represents the strengthening of skeletal muscles, otherwise, the powerful force will tear the muscles, or the bones will break because they cannot withstand too strong muscle strength. Naturally, the transformed strength cannot be increased out of thin air, and strength is also enhanced by strengthening the musculoskeletal muscles. Baiyu thought that his strength was strong enough to blast the wall, so he naturally thought that his muscles and bones could withstand such a powerful impact. In the end, he was wrong. So, he paid the price he deserved. Fortunately, after a night's rest, his spiritual power has recovered, and he used the magic hand to rejuvenate again. While healing himself, he also transformed the power that injured him from the shock of the wall into his own power. There seems to be a bug here that can get stuck. As long as he keeps hurting himself and then heals, then he can really strengthen his body to the point of invincibility. But this process, Baiyu's teeth hurt just thinking about it. It hurts too much. Anyway, talent skills can transform power no matter who heals, so why do you have to torment yourself? Wouldn't it be nice to mess with others? However, after this treatment, Baiyu also discovered that the healing effect of rejuvenation is not as slow as he thought. The reason why he recovered so slowly yesterday was mainly because he was injured too badly. For example, the injury he had just smashed against the wall and broke his hand, basically healed in minutes, and within the time he was thinking, the injury had already healed. The research was almost finished, and Baiyu was a little hungry. He opened the door and walked out, went to the refrigerator in the living room and found a few packs of snacks, and regarded it as his own breakfast. After filling his stomach, Baiyu lay on the sofa in the living room and watched TV. As for the room of the two girls, he never had the idea of exploring it. He is not a pervert. Time flies by, and it will be noon soon. When the door opened, Baiyu knew that it was Yan Yan and Luo Shui who had returned. Yo, come alive. As soon as she entered the door, Yan Yan saw Baiyu on the sofa. Well, it's almost there. Baiyu said, you finally have an awakening skill. What is the effect? Tell me. Yan Yan is very interested in Baiyu's awakening skill, the only healing in the school, and she wants to pull Baiyu over if possible. Baiyu was hurt so badly last night, she didn't have the nerve to ask more questions. While the two were chatting, Yan Yan glanced at Luo Shui secretly, only to see Luo Shui nodded slightly, and she was relieved. Although they are classmates, they don't know Baiyu very well. Besides, they know people and know faces but don't know what they know. Who knows if Baiyu has entered their room this morning when they are not here. Just now, while Yan Yan and Baiyu were talking, Luo Shui checked the door of the room and found that there was no sign of it being opened, so she felt relieved. Hey, by the way, what are your plans for the summer vacation? After the gossip was over, Yan Yan finally got down to business. Summer vacation. I have no plans. The end of the term is approaching, and then there will be a 2-month summer vacation. If Baiyu's plan is followed, it will naturally be to find a summer job, earn some money, and buy some clothes for the children in the orphanage. But now when Yan Yan asked, he didn't know what job he would find in the summer vacation, so he just answered casually. No plan. Why don't you form a leveling team with us? With me and Shui Shui, plus you, there are 3 people. Let's find 2 more elementalists. Let's form a team of 4 elements and 1 healer. Go out and kill wild beasts to upgrade. It must be very fast. When the next semester starts, our grade will definitely surprise them. While Yan Yan was talking, she was immersed in her wonderful fantasy, and little stars were almost popping out of her eyes. Ahem. 4 elements and 1 treatment, are you sure? Baiyu was surprised by Yan Yan's unconstrained ideas. Who is it that sleeps in class every day? Baiyu, who is sleeping in class tomorrow, knows that a team must have a reasonable combination, long-range attack and close combat, and meat shield output, all of which are indispensable. In the end, Yan Yan actually planned to form a violent output team. However, Yan Yan nodded seriously, and said in a serious manner, isn't the efficiency of this upgrade particularly high? I've decided, the name of the team, let's call it Shuiyan Squad. When it was over, I gave the team a name. Baiyu shook his head slightly. What, do you have an opinion? Seeing Baiyu shaking her head, Yan Yan asked unwillingly. No problem, just want to ask, when the beast rushes over, are you going to block it? Or her? Anyway, I can't do it, so I'll treat it. Baiyu pointed to Luo Shui and asked. After the advent of the mysterious system, not only human beings changed, but also beasts. They can also gain experience upgrades by killing them. The higher the level of beasts, the more powerful they are. Some beasts have elemental powers, which are basically similar to humans. Humans and beasts, perhaps in the setting of the mysterious system, belong to two different camps, and the experience gained from killing people or beasts of one's own camp is limited. Those who can kill the opponent's camp will almost double the experience gained. That's why Yan Yan came up with the idea of teaming up to kill wild beasts to upgrade. In fact, this is also the way most people level up. After all, relying solely on the experience of winning or losing in competitions to level up is too slow. After listening to Bai Yu's words, Yan Yan also felt that her idea was a little unreliable. Then what do you say? Yan Yan threw the question to Bai Yu. Since the team has already decided on 3 people, and you 2 elementals add me a healer, then it's best to add another fighter who can stand in the front row, and if you can add an assassin who is responsible for assassination, that would be great. Quote. Bai Yu said, forming a team is sometimes not only for upgrading, but also a reasonable team combination in the battle is also a guarantee to increase the winning rate. Also, the team name is not good, Shuiyan. What the hell, Shuiyu sounds better than yours. Bai Yu complained, and although Luo Shui didn't express any opinions, she blinked her big eyes, seeming to agree. No, this is the name combination of me and Shui, how can it be replaced by yours? Regarding the name of the team, Bai Yu is too lazy to argue with her. If he has the time, he might as well think about who is more appropriate to add to the team. However, there is no suitable candidate for Bai Yu for the time being. He joined the class halfway. Although he was in this class for the whole year of the second year of high school, he spent most of his time sleeping. The ability is really not very clear. Now that he has recovered, Bai Yu will naturally return to school in the afternoon. Regarding Bai Yu and Yan Yan Luoxu's coming to school together, it naturally aroused some speculation, and combined with the fact that Yan Yan helped Bai Yu ask for leave in the morning, many people felt that they had grasped the truth. But the 3 parties didn't pay attention to their whispering. Bai Yu returned to his seat, the place where he had slept for almost a year, but now it seemed that it was time to listen carefully. With the awakening skill, Bai Yu naturally didn't plan to mess it up. But after 10 minutes, he was in a fog. On the one hand, it is because the major is not suitable, and on the other hand, it is because he has fallen behind too much. After realizing that he basically couldn't understand, Bai Yu began to look around. He can probably name all the students in this class, but he doesn't know what each one is good at. It seems a bit difficult to find the remaining 2 in the team. After turning around, Bai Yu set his eyes on his deskmate. Bai Yu's tablemate is a girl with extremely exquisite facial features, not much worse than Yan Yan Luoxu. In the whole number 3 middle school, there are countless boys who like Luo Shui, but slightly less like Yan Yan. It's not because she looks worse than Luo Shui, but because she has a bad temper, or in other words, people with fire abilities have a bad temper, not so good. As for the girl in front of her, although she is good-looking, she has never heard of anyone who confessed her love or wrote a love letter to her. Because she is too strong. Xiao Xiao, who is a strength-type ability user, has a more burly body than boys. Even if they are both of the strength-type ability, most boys are a circle smaller than her. Proper King Kong Barbie. For Xiao Xiao, Bai Yu was quite impressed. The reason is because of Xiao Xiao's glorious deed of sending a group of gangsters into the hospital last winter. Winter is no better than summer. Xiao Xiao's burly figure is covered by heavy clothes, only her sweet cheeks are exposed. Walking on the street, apart from looking taller, if you don't look carefully, you still can't see anything unusual. So, the sweet-looking Xiao Xiao was molested by some fools. Xiao Xiao, who is only 16 years old, has never experienced such a thing. In shame and anger, he punched them one by one, and they were all hospitalized. Strength department, isn't this a proper meat shield? However, Xiao Xiao, who has experienced molesting incidents, is somewhat resistant to boys. Bai Yu and her have been at the same table for a year, and they have hardly spoken. Therefore, it is up to Yan Yan to recruit people into the team. If Xiao Xiao agrees to join the team, then there is only 1 member short of the 5-member team. Who should I turn to? Bai Yu was more inclined to find an assassin who walked in the dark. If there is such a person in the team, then it will be much easier to assassinate and behead, or to inquire about news. However, Bai Yu really couldn't think of anyone in the class who was capable of the dark department. Forget it, don't think about it, anyway, the exam will be in a few days, and you will know when the time comes. The final exam, for these students who have awakened their abilities, is not an answer to the test paper, but a practical confrontation. At that time, all the students will show their abilities, and it will be clear who has what ability. After finally getting out of class, Bai Yu ran out of the classroom like an escape. After finally listening to a class carefully, I found that I couldn't understand anything, it was so uncomfortable. So, in the second class, Bai Yu skipped class again. Perhaps it is because Bai Yu sleeps in class every day. In the eyes of the teachers, he is already a transparent person, except for Lao Wu who occasionally yells at him. Other teachers treat him as if he does not exist at all. There is no way, no matter how responsible the teacher is, he can't help the mess. After skipping class, Bai Yu did not leave school, but went to the actual combat training room. Here, almost every class has students training. There are no eyes in the fists and feet. If one accidentally confiscates the force, then someone may be injured. Fortunately, they are all students, their grades are not high, their strength is limited, and there is not much difference in strength between them. Even if they are injured, it is only a minor injury. Due to the lack of the treatment department, most of the time, injured students can only bear with it. If the injury is serious, go to the school infirmary to bandage it, and it will be fine for a few more days. But today is different. The closed door of the training room was pushed open, a boy walked in holding a sign, and under the eyes of all the teachers and students, he showed the sign. It only costs 100 yuan to treat internal and external injuries, and the beauties are free. The words on the sign made everyone stunned. After entering the door, Bai Yu was also taken aback, and then burst into joy. Before entering the actual combat training room, he didn't know which grade was training. After I came in, I realized that it was a senior year in high school. Good senior year. The seniors in the third year of high school are high level and strong, so the injuries they get are naturally more serious. Although there is no difference in treatment, the transformable power will be more. Practical training is the only way for students below the third year of high school to upgrade. At the current stage, they don't have courses to go out and kill beasts to upgrade, only after the third year of high school. Therefore, students in the third year of high school are usually above the 10th level. With the second awakening skill, the lethality is naturally much stronger. At present, among Bai Yu's sophomore classmates, the highest grade is only grade 8, that is Lin Zong's fire ability. People with fire abilities have high explosive power and strong lethality. During the actual combat training in the class, Lin Zhong has always maintained a record of victory. However, Bai Yu never participated in the actual combat training in the class, so he has no interest in giving others experience. Bai Yu's own level was raised by filling an ant nest with boiling water while playing with children in the orphanage. It's a pity that this method is useless after he reaches the 4th level. These small animals only have experience before the 4th level. Unless it is an awakened life skill, such as slaughter, you can keep upgrading by killing pigs and cattle until the full level. However, life occupation characters cannot be upgraded, all upgrades are skills. And it's a natural skill, life occupations don't have awakening skills. Bai Yu found a spacious place, put the sign aside, and sat quietly. The teachers and students in this class had seen Bai Yu's arrival, but they were bewildered. Everyone in Wucheng No. 3 Middle School knows Bai Yu's name, after all, he is the only healer in the whole school. However, everyone also knows that this guy has no awakening skills. Then what does he mean by setting up a sign to help people heal injuries? 100 yuan is not expensive. These days, it costs more than 100 yuan to go to the hospital to see a cold. But the problem is, after giving the money, you have to be cured. Therefore, although Bai Yu was eye-catching, no one went to him for treatment for a while. No one came over. Bai Yu was not in a hurry, he just lay back, leaned against the wall, and watched them train. No one is coming now, it's because they didn't strike hard enough. In the third year of high school, at the age of 17 or 18, some people are impulsive, some are good deeds, some like to show off, and some will hold grudges. Under the same roof, there will inevitably be some stumbling between each other. If such two people meet together, they may have a real fight, and by then, someone will definitely be injured. Bai Yu sat on the side, watching the opponents in the field change one pair after another. Seeing the brilliant light and shadow effects of skills bursting out between them, Bai Yu's eyes also flashed a trace of envy. Young people are passionate and eager to have enough stages to show themselves. But Bai Yu's career is doomed to stay behind the scenes. Treatment is never at the forefront. Student, hello. Just when Bai Yu was fascinated, a nice voice sounded beside him. Bai Yu turned his head to look, and saw a beautiful woman being supported, with one leg limping, standing in front of him. Of course Bai Yu knew this beauty. She was Miu-Ru, who was regarded as a goddess by all the boys in the third year of high school. But now he is limping. Bai Yu doesn't know who can take such a ruthless hand. Senior Miu-Ru, come sit down. Do you want to heal your injuries? Hey, I don't know which idiot is so serious, and I don't know how to be sympathetic and sympathetic. As Bai Yu said, he moved his butt to the side, making room for Miu-Ru. Miu-Ru nodded slightly, but didn't say much, just sat down. Her leg was hurt, and it was really inconvenient to stand. Miu-Ru didn't say anything, but the girl who was supporting her started yelling. Isn't it? You're just an idiot. I can't keep my boyfriend, blame Miss Roro. Shinkson, stop talking. Luo Xin was interrupted by Moreau in the middle of her sentence. However, after saying this, Bai Yu probably understood what was going on. He has heard of Miu-Ru's name, and he also knows that it is impossible for her to do such a thing as seduce someone else's boyfriend. Most likely it was a girl's boyfriend who showed admiration for Miu-Ru, and then his girlfriend became jealous. It happened that during the actual combat training, she met Miu-Ru, so naturally she would not show mercy. Heal the wound, right? Small problem. Saying that, Bai Yu bent down to pull Miu-Ru's pants. Hey, what are you doing? Before Bai Yu's hand touched Miu-Ru's trouser leg, Luo Xin slapped it away. Why, of course it's to check the injury. It's true that I'm a healer, but I'm not a light-type healer either. Besides, even if it's light-type water-type healing, you still have to throw skills on the wound. I've never seen a foot injury throw skills on the head. Bai Yu looked at Luo Xin innocently. It's okay, let him see it. It was Miu-Ru who spoke, and Luo Xin withdrew her hand that stopped Bai Yu. That's right, let's see what's wrong. There's a lot of meat. As a treatment, do you know that you are responsible for the wounded? If I don't check it clearly, how will I know how to treat it? Oh, this hurts a lot. Miu-Ru was wearing a pair of cropped trousers. As Bai Yu pulled up Ru-Ru's trouser legs, he saw Miu-Ru's thighs near the knees were red and swollen. After Bai Yu touched it with his hands, he also fully grasped the information of the wound. The muscle damage was a trivial matter, and there were slight cracks in the bones, which showed how heavy the opponent's attack was. It was the first time for Miu-Ru to be touched by a boy. Coupled with the pain from the wound, her face was so red that she was about to bleed. Check it if you check it, what are you touching? When Luo Xin saw that Bai Yu reached out and touched Miu-Ru's leg, she immediately became unhappy. In fact, Bai Yu's healing skills can be used directly, and there is no need to check. However, the beauty is free, not for nothing, the cost is all here. Ahem, my healing skills are a bit special. I have to check carefully before I can prepare for the injury. This is also for her own good, so that there will be no sequelae. Bai Yu said seriously, you are not of the healing department, but you should have heard that the treatment of the light department is completed by overdrawing vitality. Although the overdrawn vitality will slowly recover as the level of strength increases, it can treat some serious injuries that were overdrawn. Vitality, but it is difficult to recover. The water system and the wood system focus on nourishment, but they may take effect slowly, and may not be without sequelae. But my healing skills are different. As long as the method is used correctly, there will be absolutely no sequelae. This point, Bai Yu did not lie. The healing effect produced by the rejuvenation of the hand is slightly slower than the treatment of the light system, but it really does not have any sequelae. However, there is actually nothing special about this treatment method. Hearing what Bai Yu said, Luo Xin gave up curing her as well. She is not of the healing department, and she only has a half knowledge about the healing department. Seeing that Luo Xin no longer obstructed her, Bai Yu became even more unscrupulous, groping with both hands on Mu Ru Bai Shengsheng's thigh. But don't dare to go too far, after all, so many people are watching. At the same time, the rejuvenation of the Miao hand was activated, and spiritual power poured into Mu Ru's wound along Bai Yu's hand, bringing a cool and refreshing feeling, and the pain gradually eased. Seeing that Bai Yu's hands were a little dishonest, Mu Ru had already planned not to let him treat her, but after finding out that Bai Yu really made her leg no longer hurt, she realized that Bai Yu was not taking advantage, but really helping her treat. My treatment method is to dredge the meridians through massage, and at the same time let the spiritual power pour in to repair the wound, so that there will be no sequelae. Bai Yu's hand was walking on Mu Ru's snow-white legs, and he still had a serious explanation in his mouth. This is indeed a bit embarrassing for Bai Yu. It was the first time for Mu Ru to be touched by a boy, so why not the first time for him to touch a girl's thigh? The wonderful touch from his hand made him unbearably flustered. Otherwise, if you are quick to make up a few words that are still reliable, I'm afraid it will be exposed. I have to say that Mu Ru's legs are really white and elastic, which is what a girl of this age should be like, and Mu Ru's legs are water, so they are even softer. The water system is divided into two types, healing and combat. Because healing is extremely rare, the water system is basically combat type, and there are very few people who can awaken as a healer. Although Mu Ru has been cured, Bai Yu is reluctant to take his hand away, calling it massage to improve the healing effect. While enjoying the wonderful touch from his hand, Bai Yu felt the power transformed from his talent skills, and he was in a great mood. After Bai Yu's experiment, the power transformed from the innate skill is not only the attribute of strength, agility, mental power, and even the total amount of spiritual power and physique have increased. It's a pity that these things are not displayed on the properties panel. System prompt. For this treatment, gain 10 experience points. The following system prompts made Bai Yu's already good mood even better. Other professions can gain experience through the victory or defeat of martial arts competitions, which can be used as treatment, to compete with others, that is to give experience. But they also have a unique way of gaining experience, which is the treatment target. Of course, if it's a team game, if the healer is the winner, he can also gain experience. Therefore, gaining experience through the treatment target is considered a benefit of treatment. At present, Bai Yu's level is only level 4, and the experience points needed to upgrade are not much. I believe that it will not take long to upgrade to level 5. Others won a game through exhaustion, and the experience points gained are only so much, but Bai Yu only needs to heal one person, and he can have so much. If all the students in the school come to him for treatment after being injured in the battle. Hey. Thinking of this, Bai Yu laughed unconsciously, almost drooling. Of course, this is just what Bai Yu has in mind. But his appearance fell into the eyes of Luo Xin and Mu Ru, it was different. His hand is still on Mu Ru's thigh. Bah, rogue. Looking at Bai Yu who looked like a pig, Luo Xin let out a slap, and slapped Bai Yu's salty pig's hand away. Mu Ru was also blushing, and silently pulled down her trouser legs. Although it was a bit shameful for Bai Yu to take advantage of the opportunity, neither of them left. After all, it is very beneficial to have a good relationship with a healer. Mu Ru is weak and not very talkative, but Luo Xin is extroverted and almost never stops talking. At this time, he was talking about the battle process just now, criticizing the girl who injured Mu Ru. Following Luo Xin's explanation, Bai Yu finally understood the whole process of the matter. Originally it was just a normal actual combat training, but Moreau was so good-looking, especially after she started to fight, she changed from her usual weakness and had a different style. Many boys were dumbfounded because of this. Her opponent was a pretty girl, and her boyfriend was watching from the sidelines. After noticing that her boyfriend was attracted by Moreau and forgot to cheer her up, she became jealous and hit hard. Otherwise, Mu Ru's elementalization would be fast, and it might not be as simple as a broken bone. The physical strength and anti-strike ability of the elemental system are very poor, even if they are upgraded, the improvement is extremely limited. In front of the ability users of the animal transformation department, they are simply vulnerable. In addition, Mu Ru didn't expect her to hit such a heavy hand, so she was injured. After listening to the gossip, another classmate was brought over. That's right, lift. This guy was pierced through the stomach by the ice pick, and a big hole was opened. Blood sprayed out, and he was lying on a makeshift stretcher, howling. 4 boys were carrying a stretcher and trotted over, followed by a boy with a pale face, who was pressing the bleeding wound with both hands, and kept saying things like "I didn't do it on purpose." The stretcher was released to Bayu's feet. Bayu saw the injury of this man, and knew that there was no delay, so he directly reached out and touched the wound on his stomach, and the magic hand rejuvenated. The wound on the boy's stomach healed at a speed visible to the naked eye, and the blood stopped, leaving only a new piece of skin under the blood stains that was more tender and smoother than other skins. Done. Bayu clapped his hands with a proud face. However, he soon discovered something was wrong. People around are staring at him. What's wrong? Bayu is puzzled. Not a massage? Luo Xin asked. No, it will be fine soon. As soon as he finished speaking, Bayu realized something was wrong. It seemed that he told Muru just now that he wanted a massage. Well, what he injured was only the flesh. He has recovered now, but he is still very fragile. To fully recover, he needs to rest for a while. Before tomorrow morning, he should not exercise vigorously. As for you, you need a massage because you hurt your bones. Thinking of this, Bayu explained in a serious manner. But Muru is not stupid. How could he be deceived so easily? But she didn't try to expose him, she just nodded with a blushing face. But Luo Xin was not so shy, and was about to yell, but was stopped by Muro. HMPH. Ruro, you are soft-hearted, that's why you are always bullied. Luo Xin, who was stopped, rubbed Muru's face angrily. There are dozens of people in a class, and the actual combat training is naturally impossible to finish in one class, so Bayu stayed in the actual combat training room for an afternoon, during which time he treated several people. This afternoon, besides experience points and transformation power, Bayu has another harvest. That is, he found that the experience points gained from treating different levels of injuries are also different. He only got 10 experience points for treating Muru, but he got 20 points for treating the boy whose stomach was pierced. The remaining few with minor injuries ranged from 5 to 8. However, these experiences are enough for Bayu to reach level 5. The increase in level naturally brought about a comprehensive increase in all attributes of the whole body, including the total amount of spiritual power and mental power. After the seniors in the 3rd year of high school finished the actual combat training class, it was almost time for school to leave in the afternoon. Bayu didn't go to the classroom anymore, and met Yan Yan and Luo Shui on the way to the campus. Luo Shui still acted like no one should approach her, but when Yan Yan saw Bayu, she called out. Bayu, you are miserable. Yan Yan's gloating words made Bayu a little confused. He is a transparent person in the class, the teacher has basically ignored him, and he didn't go to class yesterday afternoon, isn't it okay? Why am I miserable? The smile on Bayu's face hadn't faded away yet, so he didn't look half miserable. There is a class from Old Wu this afternoon, you don't know about it, do you? Yan Yan said. This time, Bayu's complexion finally changed. He never pays attention to the class schedule, he just sleeps anyway, why watch that stuff? I usually sleep in class, and after being discovered, at most I will be woken up and reprimanded. After all, he is still in the classroom, as long as he wakes up, he has to listen. But skip class this time. Although Bayu didn't see it, he already imagined Old Wu's angry expression. Ruined. At school, Bayu is not afraid of anyone but Lao Wu. Not because he is afraid of what Lao Wu will do to him, but because he is afraid that Lao Wu will look at him with that expression of hating iron and steel. So, are you ready to go to Lao Wu and admit your mistakes? Yan Yan snickered. Let's forget it, why don't we go to him tomorrow after he has calmed down a bit? While talking, the few people didn't stop, and went straight out of the school gate. Wait, what are you doing here? When they arrived at the door of the rented house, Yan Yan was about to open the door when she remembered that Bayu followed them. Well, Bayu was also stunned, he was only thinking about how to deal with Lao Wu along the way, but he followed him directly to his residence. Since we are all teammates, it is necessary to properly cultivate a tacit understanding. We've already arrived here, and Bayu can only be shameless, anyway, it's not like he hasn't lived here before, 2 girls live here, and there is a fragrant smell in the room, which is quite nice. How do you want to train? Yan Yan looked at Bai Yu warily. Haha, if you don't mind, I'll stay here for a few days. It just so happens that I have something to discuss with you. Bai Yu also remembered about Xiao Xiao. Borrow, you think beautifully, what can you do? Luo Shui had already entered the house, and Yan Yan blocked the door to prevent Bai Yu from entering. It's really something, it's business, it's about our team. Seeing that Bai Yu didn't seem to be lying, Yan Yan stepped aside. You better have something to do, otherwise, Letting Bai Yu in, Yan Yan was not worried at all. Healing is indeed very important, but their combat power is extremely weak. Even if they really let him live here, they are not afraid of Bai Yu. Two girls from the combat department, picking up a healer, isn't that the same as playing? Bai Yu squeezed in through the crack of the door that Yan Yan let open, walked straight to the sofa, chose a comfortable position and sat down. Xiao Xiao, you know it. Luo Shui is also sitting on the sofa. After Bai Yu sat down, he didn't linger, and directly stated the target he was looking for. Certainly. Yan Yan gave Bai Yu a blank look. Having been in the same class for 2 years, Yan Yan and Luo Shui naturally knew that Xiao Xiao was a strong woman, a power-type capable person, and her talent skills seemed to be different from other strength-type abilities. To tell you the truth, although this strong woman is a bit stronger and looks a bit weird, but as a power user, she is the best candidate for the front-row fighter in our team. Bai Yu gestured his muscles. Strong strength must require strong muscles and bones to support. Xiao Xiao's muscles are absolutely strong, not only has strong offensive ability, but also has absolutely ridiculously strong ability to resist blows. So, you are going to draw her into our team. That's right, she's your deskmate, so I'm afraid it's easier to talk about it. Yan Yan nodded. No, it's not me who said it, but you. I've been at the same table with her until now, and I probably haven't said more than 10 words. If I say I'm familiar with her, I'm afraid I'm not as familiar with you as she is. Yan Yan has a fiery temper. She treats boys with enthusiasm, so the girls in the class are basically familiar with her. So, this glorious and arduous task is entrusted to you. Bai Yu pointed to Yan Yan with an expression that you can do it. Yan Yan also knew about Xiao Xiao's situation, and also knew her attitude towards boys. If she counted on Bai Yu, she would probably be ashamed, so she nodded in desperation. The second question, as a small team, it must have a captain. Who do you think is suitable? Bai Yu said again. That must be me, I was the one who proposed the team formation. Yan Yan took it for granted. You become the captain, then take the lead in the charge. Take everyone away forever. Yan Yan's personality is indeed outgoing, and she is easy to get along with others, but if she is the captain, it is really possible to do what Bai Yu said. To put it simply, she doesn't like to use her brain. For this point, Yan Yan is of course self-aware, so she doesn't refute after saying a word to Bai Yu. Besides, Luo Shui, I have no objection to her being the captain, but can she command? Bai Yu asked again. Bai Yu didn't doubt Luo Shui's intelligence at all, but she was a person who didn't say a word, so she was asked to command a team. How to command? Rely on tacit understanding or tacit understanding. Furthermore, Xiao Xiao, commanding a battle requires an overview of the overall situation, but as a soldier in the front row, she is surrounded by heavy siege most of the time. How can she have an overview of the overall situation? The last one, although the person has not been decided yet, but I think it is more suitable to choose an assassin-type combat-type ability. Then the question is, an assassin who can hardly see anyone in the whole process, if he makes a sound, he will definitely reveal his position. How to command? Bai Yu asked again. Then what do you mean? You can only be the captain. A team of 5 people, 4 people are excluded, who else can there be? Certainly. Bai Yu nodded. Then it's up to you. Yan Yan didn't fight for it either. She was just a captain without real power, she was nothing more than a title. This is reality, and it's not an online game. The captain can distribute the loot, and besides, beasts don't explode. Let Bai Yu be the captain, that is, just remind the commander during the battle. He only heals, and basically doesn't participate in the battle very much. There is no problem in the overall situation, which is quite suitable. After a few words, the captain's position was confirmed, and Bai Yu asked Yan Yan again. The last member of the assassin class, do you have any good candidates to recommend? Luo Shui doesn't need to ask. It's useless to ask. She can't speak. The reason why she uses you is also a proof of her presence. After all, this is to discuss the composition of the team. If she is completely ignored, it is not good. No, Yan Yan shook her head. She is quite familiar with the classmates in the class, but she is just playing around. How can she pay attention to who is good at what? The team upgrade is just a temporary idea. Then we can only wait for the final exam to find out. Bai Yu is also helpless. He is not very familiar with his classmates, but Yan Yan is, but the focus is not on ability. Bai Yu believes that Luo Shui must have a certain understanding, but she doesn't speak, and she can't ask, so she feels uncomfortable. This team is not easy to lead. This night, Bai Yu stayed in the house that Yan Yan and the others rented again, in the room where she slept last night. Although there is no quilt, the weather is not cold now, so let's make do. Early the next morning, the three of them went out together. Along the way, Bai Yu was frowning. I ran very fast yesterday, but I still have to go back to school today. As the saying goes, you can hide from the first day of junior high school, but you can't hide from the 15th day. Old Wu has to face it from beginning to end. Yesterday I was too busy trying to avoid Old Wu's anger, but I forgot that when he left, he not only skipped class in the afternoon, but also skipped the evening self-study in the evening. Bai Yu, come with me. As soon as he entered the school gate, Bai Yu heard a chilling voice. Looking up, Old Wu was waiting for him at the school gate. After seeing Bai Yu and Yan Yan Luoxu walking into the school gate together, his face became even more ugly. Dare to love you not only skipping class, but also stay out at night. Old Wu had seen Bai Yu from afar, and the reason why he was waiting inside the school gate was because he was afraid that his kid would run away again. Seeing Lao Wu's expression, Bai Yu didn't dare to do anything wrong, and obediently followed Lao Wu away, leaving Luo Shui with an expressionless face and Yan Yan with a gloating face. Tell me why you skipped class. In the office, Old Wu slapped the lesson plan on the table, then leaned back on the chair, and looked at the bewildered Bai Yu. I heard from other teachers that Bai Yu is not afraid of them at all, but looking at the current situation, it is not completely hopeless, at least he will still be afraid of himself. Ah, that, I said that I have reawakened, do you believe me? Bai Yu whispered. What? Old Wu stood up again from his chair, staring at Bai Yu in surprise, his heart was in turmoil. Reawakening? What do you mean? It means that you have undergone the second awakening, and you are no longer a healing department. At this moment, Lao Wu didn't know whether he was happy or disappointed. Bai Yu was brought into the school by him. As the only healing department in number 3 middle school, the school also paid enough attention to it, but Bai Yu didn't have awakening skills, so he was almost a waste, but the school still didn't give up on him. But he also knew about Bai Yu's blindness among the students, and he felt a little bit guilty about it. Think about it. If Bai Yu really awakens for the second time, even if it is just a life-like ability, at least it will be good for his future life. Hey, that's fine, tell me about your current abilities. Old Wu let out a long sigh. Teacher, I'm still in the healing department, but I have awakening skills. Bai Yu said. As soon as this remark came out, Lao Wu immediately forgot about Bai Yu's skipping class, and he was very pleasantly surprised. Really? An awakening skill from the healing department. An ordinary healing type awakening skill is not too surprising, but a healing type ability user is extremely precious. If no 3 middle school develops a healing department, that would be a huge contribution. Healing department is lacking in all countries. There are many reasons. One is that the healing department is rare, the other is that the healing department is weak in combat power, lacks the ability to upgrade through single training, and it is difficult to grow. The third is that it is easy to be assassinated. The reason for assassinating the healing department is actually very simple, that is, if I don't have it, don't even think about it. That's all I have. If you dare to have more than one, I'll kill one. However, since it was an assassination, it is naturally impossible to put it on the bright side. So even if a person with healing ability dies, there is no way to prove whether it was an accident or someone deliberately did it. What kind of awakening technique? Show me. Old Wu grabbed Bai Yu's shoulder with great force. Ah, this is my healing skill, how do I show it? Is the teacher going to self-mutilate? Bai Yu shrank his shoulders slightly, as expected of a fire element, he is so impatient. It's also fortunate that Lao Wu is of the fire type. If he is of the strength type, if he catches it, Bai Yu may have a chance to show off his skills. Haha, I'm overjoyed. Bai Yu possessed the awakening skill, and Lao Wu was more excited than himself. By the way, then you should prepare to build a team. On the one hand, it can guarantee the speed of leveling up, and on the other hand, safety can also be guaranteed. After the excitement, old Wu told Bai Yu, "It's in preparation, and I'm thinking of asking the teacher for advice." Now that this was mentioned, Bai Yu took advantage of the opportunity to ask old Wu for his opinion. Although he spoke clearly and logically in front of Yan Yan, he had no experience in forming a team after all, and everything was theory. As for Lao Wu, as a teacher and a level 39 fire element ability user, he must have some experience in forming a team. Asking his opinion will definitely make up for his own shortcomings. Oh, have you already started to build it? The action is quite fast. There is also a lot of knowledge in the formation of the team. Currently, the most common is the assault team, which is a team composed of powerful attacking ability users. Such a team is strong enough to kill, and the speed is guaranteed during the upgrade process. The second is the balanced team, which is composed of members who are good at offense and defense. Such a team has both offense and defense, the team structure is reasonable, and the security is relatively high. The third type is a defensive counterattack team. The team members are mainly defensive type ability users, relying on indestructible defense to grind the opponent to death. This classification was not made by Lao Wu himself, but the type of team that people summed up after so many years. Only 3. Bai Yu thinks that there are so many capable people, there are not only 3 combinations. Of course there are more than 3 types. This is just a general classification. If you subdivide it, there are dozens of types. Old Wu said, "Then which one is right for me?" This is what Bai Yu cares about the most. Other combinations, no matter how strong they are useless if they are not suitable for him. Of course it's the 4th type, a dream combination. Old Wu looked at Bai Yu, nodded and continued. The so-called dream combination is the combination that almost all ability users dream of, because there is healing in this combination. The existence of the healing system allows this combination to have more choices. As long as the healing system can grow, then in the battle, as long as they are not directly killed, they can be rescued. So, in this combination, healing is the core, and with a member with strong lethality, a member with excellent control ability, and a meat tank member, it is almost perfect. As for the last one, it depends on the situation and what kind of team you like. The result of Lao Wu's analysis is almost completely consistent with the current members of Bai Yu. The lethality is powerful. Is there anything stronger than the fire element? Lightning might be counted as one, but most of the lightning is single target damage, while the fire is group damage, and some awakening skills also have continuous burning or burst damage. With outstanding control ability, it is naturally ice and wood, and Luo Shui is ice. Compared with the wood type, the ice type has a little more damage, which is very good. For meat tanks, the first choice is the strength system and the animalization system. The physical bodies of these 2 systems are strong enough, and their resistance to attack is unparalleled. With the healer, as long as they don't go too far, it's hard to die. Although the defense of the earth type is also very strong, they are elemental types. If they cooperate with the strength type or animalization type to strengthen their defense, they will naturally be more invincible. But they are not tough enough, and the ice element in the team also has the ability to strengthen the defense, so the earth element is not in Bai Yu's consideration. At present, Xiao Xiao from the power department is the most suitable candidate. It depends on whether Yan Yan is strong enough to pull people into the team. The last candidate, Bai Yu, has his own idea, but there is no suitable one for the time being. Old Wu might have a suitable recommendation, so it's a good time to ask now. Teacher, I already have 4 candidates for my team, Yan Yan who has the fire element to attack, Luo Shui who has the ice element to control, Xiao Xiao who has the meat tank and strength element, and the last one I want is an assassin type ability user. Who do you think is suitable in the class? When it comes to understanding the abilities of the students in the class, no one knows better than Old Wu. Bai Yu is asking the right person. Well, your team composition is perfect. Yan Yan's first awakening skill Fireball, although the name doesn't sound very powerful, but it has a burst effect, and its lethality is not bad. Luoxu's first awakening skill is Ice Thorns, a damage-type skill, but the early upgrade is quite fast, and the second awakening skill should be Control-type, which is also very good. As for Xiao Xiao, if you can really pull her into the team, then you will make a lot of money. Her talent is different. It's not a huge force, but a natural supernatural power. If she is a meat tank, the pressure on your team will be much less. As an assassin, you can consider Chu Jie, Chen Feng, and Lu Xin. Who is more suitable, you can observe it yourself. Lao Wu did not directly recommend, but gave the names of 3 people and asked Bai Yu to choose by himself. Chapter 11. Bai Yu knew the 3 names provided by Lao Wu, even if he was a classmate in the same class, even if he slept every day, he knew each other. But well, I know the names, but I don't know what abilities they have. Fortunately, Lao Wu knew enough about Bai Yu to know that this guy had no idea what other people were capable of, so he continued. Chu Jie, the Shadow-type ability Awakener, the talent skill, Shadow Escape, can hide in the shadow of any object, the first awakening skill, Shadow, can shuttle in the Shadow Escape state. Chen Feng, the Awakener of the Wind ability, talent skill, Elementalization, Incarnation into Wind, physical attack immunity, elemental attack damage increase, the first awakening skill, Cloud Body Wind Body, movement speed increased by 60%. Lu Xin, who has awakened the ability of the light system, talent skill, Refraction, can use light refraction to achieve the invisible effect, the first awakening skill, Chasing Light, the place that the eyes can be seen in an instant. This is the ability of these 3 people. You can see which one is more suitable for your team. It's really hard to choose. Just wait for the final exam and see their performance before deciding. Of course, when you choose others, you also have to look at whether they are willing to join your team. Under normal circumstances, no one would refuse an invitation for treatment, but now the situation is abnormal. The whole school knows that Bai Yu is a useless treatment department, and there are only a handful of people who are willing to team up with him. Even if he already has the awakening skill now, it still needs to be believed by others. I'm afraid he won't be able to say anything with just one mouth. The best way is to show it off. Others don't believe in Bai Yu like old Wu. If Bai Yu says yes, he will believe it. The best time to show off is naturally the final exam, when someone will definitely be injured. Bai Yu will naturally be able to carry out some healing, and there is no need to talk about the fact that he has the awakening skill. However, before that, it does not affect him to make a choice. Let's talk about Chu Ji's shadow system first. His first awakening skill combined with his talent skill can achieve the effect of shuttling through the shadows. It can be used for sneak attacks, and naturally it can be taken by surprise. But these 2 skills of the shadow system cannot improve the attack ability, that is to say, when Chu Jie rushes behind others, he can only attack with his own ability. If you don't have a strong attack power, you won't be able to achieve instant kills, and you will be in a tight siege. Fortunately, in terms of attack power, it can be strengthened with equipment. Bai Yu has some expectations for Chu Jie. Compared with Chu Jie, Bai Yu's expectations for Chen Feng are not so high. Although the speed of the wind element is fast, it can't directly emerge from the shadow of others like the shadow element, and its ability to rush is much worse. However, Chen Feng is better than Chu Jie in that he is more flexible. Although Chu Jie can appear behind others strangely, his moving speed remains unchanged, but Chen Feng can increase his own moving speed by relying on his cloud body and wind body. The third Lu Xin is actually about the same ability as Chu Jie, but a little weaker than Chu Jie. Chu Ji's shadow appeared directly from the shadow of others, while Lu Xin's chasing light moved, not teleported, but had a moving track. And although his movement seems to be no different from teleportation in terms of speed, there is a prerequisite, the place where the eyes can see. If he was blindfolded, then he wouldn't be able to take a step forward. Although Chu Ji's movement also needs a shadow, but what is there without a shadow in the world? Therefore, in Bai Yu's heart, he is more inclined to Chu Jie. However, everything has to wait until after the final exam. Now, let's see if Yan Yan can successfully pull Xiao Xiao into the team. Thank you, teacher. Goodbye, teacher. After getting the answer he wanted from old Wu, Bai Yu said hello and ran away. As for his skipping class, both he and old Wu selectively forgot about it. This kid. Knowing that Bai Yu has the awakening skill, Lao Wu is in a good mood, so he doesn't care too much about it. After Bai Yu came out of Lao Wu's office, he went straight to the classroom. After having the awakening skill, Bai Yu's mentality also changed. It's one thing not to understand, you have to have an attitude, and if you skip class again, old Wu won't be so easy to fool. When Bai Yu arrived in the classroom, the class was already halfway through, and Bai Yu slipped in through the back door of the classroom. But how could this action escape the teacher's eyes? Just as he was about to get angry, he saw that it was Bai Yu. After shaking his head, the teacher ignored him and continued to teach. The teacher ignored Bai Yu, but today Xiao Xiao was uncharacteristically staring at Bai Yu non-stop, making Bai Yu feel uncomfortable. Just as she was about to divert her attention, she found that Yan Yan looked over and quietly gave him an okay gesture. Now Bai Yu understood why Xiao Xiao was staring at him, probably because he was looking at whether this future teammate was reliable or not. With the awakening skill, Bai Yu is much more confident than before. Knowing the reason for looking at himself, he is no longer embarrassed. Look, you can still see a flower. The whole morning was spent in such a daze, Bai Yu didn't know if he understood what the teacher said. During the break, Bai Yu didn't go to Yan Yan to ask about Xiao Xiao, let alone talk to Xiao Xiao. In fact, Bai Yu wanted to talk to Xiao Xiao, especially Xiao Xiao's talent that was different from the normal strength system, and Xiao Xiao's burly body. He was very curious. Bai Yu has undergone several power transformations, and his physical fitness is not weak now. At least no one in the class, except for the students of the strength department and the beast department, should have a stronger physical body than him, and his body has grown a lot of muscles. But in front of Xiao Xiao, she was still as thin as a chicken. When school was over, Bai Yu went home with Yan Yan and Luo Shui again. I said you're addicted to living here, aren't you? Think this is your home. Yan Yan naturally has opinions on this. You don't understand this. As teammates, we naturally need to cultivate a tacit understanding. What could be more convenient than being under the same roof? By the way, I see there is still an empty room here, why don't Xiao Xiao move here too? In order to stay here forever, Bai Yu's shameless suggestion. Hey, the three of us live with you. We'll be shameless if it gets out. Yan Yan would not agree. Let Bai Yu stay for 2 nights, it is already very good, he still wants to make an inch. I'm serious, don't we have to form a team to go out to upgrade during the summer vacation? If we go back to our respective homes, it will take a lot of time just to gather every day. The efficiency is too low. It's better to live together. In my opinion, this house needs to be replaced with a bigger one, and there is only 1 room left. In fact, Bai Yu wants to say that you still have face. But thinking that Yan Yan might be ignited, and that he would suffer in the end, he held back. Although he instinctively wanted to refuse, Bai Yu's words seemed to make sense. The upgrade of the team was originally proposed by Yan Yan. She wanted to take advantage of this summer vacation to raise her level, at least not lower than Lin Zhong, so that he would not be able to fart every day. Lin Zhong and Yan Yan are both fire elements, so Yan Yan naturally has to compete with Lin Zhong, coupled with Lin Zhong's flamboyant character and really excellent strength. No matter in battle or in other aspects, Yan Yan was slightly inferior. This summer vacation, Yan Yan and the others will form a team to upgrade, and Lin Zhong naturally cannot be idle. According to Lin Zhong's temperament, his team will definitely be a strong attacking team, and the upgrade efficiency is extremely high. If they want not to be distanced, or even overtaken, their team must have the same efficiency or even higher. In terms of monster killing speed, the team is equipped with a balanced Shuiyu team, so it is naturally impossible to compare with Lin Zhong's storming team. But they also have their own advantages, that is battery life. The Shuiyu team has healing, has the strength system to resist injuries, and can be healed by Bai Yu when injured. They don't need to rest for too long, and they can almost guarantee to go out to level up every day. As for Lin Zhong's team, once someone is injured, they have to go back to the city to rest, and this time depends on the injury. Both teams have their strengths. As for the night, no one would choose to level up at night. At night, all the abilities of the beasts will be improved, but the experience value will not change. Leveling at night is almost like courting death. So, Yan Yan could only agree to Bai Yu's seemingly unreasonable request. But it's nothing, anyway, they are all in different rooms, and they don't sleep together. The lunch break didn't last long, and in the afternoon, the three of them returned to school. The house Yan Yan rented was very close to the school, and it only took a few minutes to walk. However, during this short journey, Bai Yu met an acquaintance. "Hey, isn't this Bai Yu's junior?" A slightly familiar voice sounded behind Bai Yu. Hearing this voice, Bai Yu stopped. Yan Yan and Luo Shui also stopped. "Huh, Mu Ru and Luo Xin. When did you meet?" After seeing the two of them, Yan Yan nudged Bai Yu with her elbow, with an expression of wanting to hear gossip. She has heard of the name of Mu Ru, the high school goddess, and knows herself. "Just yesterday, I skipped class to familiarize myself with healing techniques. It happened that their class was conducting actual combat training. Mu Ru was injured. I helped her heal her injury by the way, and then we got to know each other." Bai Yu briefly talked about the process. Of course, the details must not be said. "Is that so?" Yan Yan was a little disappointed to hear that there was no gossip. "Senior Moreau, Senior Luo Xin." Now that he was called, Bai Yu naturally said hello. "Hey, Bai Yu has a lot of good luck." Luo Xin looked at Yan Yan and Luo Shui standing behind him. The names of these two little girls are quite famous in number 3 middle school. Ice Goddess, Queen of Fire. Luo Shui and Yan Yan's status in the second year of high school is similar to that of Mu Ru, and they are goddesses in the hearts of many boys. Even Bai Yu is no exception, otherwise, he wouldn't be ashamed to borrow it, but he didn't show it so obviously. And these so-called goddesses are not limited to one grade, but the common goddesses of all the boys in the school. Anyway, they can't be my girlfriends, so it's okay to like them all. Hee, Senior Sister Luo Xin is joking, they are just my classmates. Bai Yu quickly explained. "If I don't make it clear today, if I pretend to be a boyfriend, I may have to eat a knife to beat my ex-boyfriend tonight." "Oh, classmate," Luo Xin nodded. "Sister, what's the matter?" Bai Yu knew that he and Luo Xin Moreau had no friendship at all, and if the other party stopped him, he must have something to say. "Yeah, Junior Bai Yu, summer vacation is coming soon, are you interested in forming a team together and getting promoted?" Bai Yu and Luo Xin, Moreau, and the others are one level behind. The students in the third year of high school are all above the 10th level, and they can already be rated as the yellow level. If Bai Yu forms a team with them, it can be regarded as taking him to a higher level. This kind of good deed, others can't ask for it, especially when there is a beauty like Mu Ru in the team. Although Luo Xin is not as good as Mu Ru, Yan Yan, and Luo Shui, she is still a real beauty. Such a team, even if you want to add it, you can't join it. It is certain that if Luo Xin shouted from another place, the team is short of people, and it is estimated that they will be able to fight. But Bai Yu refused. "Sorry, I've already shut down a team." Bai Yu said very honestly. "Is there a team? Are these two beauties members of your team?" "No wonder." Luo Xin sized up Yan Yan and Luo Shui again, and then rolled her eyes. "These two beauties are indeed very beautiful, but, look." Saying that, Luo Xin stretched out her hand with a smirk and pulled up Mu Ru's short skirt. Today, Mu Ru is wearing a light blue knee-length skirt, which just covers her snow-white thighs, and her exposed calves are straight and slender. Luo Xin remembered that in order to take advantage, Bai Yu fabricated various reasons and touched Mu Ru's thigh for a long time. Presumably, he didn't have much resistance to Mu Ru's leg. Luo Xin guessed right, Bai Yu does have a tendency to control his legs. The moment Luo Xin pulled up Moreau's short skirt, his eyes almost went straight. "I almost hummed it out of my mouth just because I took one more look at you in the skirt." Seeing Bai Yu's reaction, Luo Xin nodded in satisfaction. "Shinkson, don't mess around." Mu Ru reached out and knocked away Luo Xin's evil little hand. He looked at his girlfriend with dissatisfaction. Although she really wanted Bai Yu to join their team, she couldn't do such things as seduction. Hey, Luo Xin smirked, grabbed Mu Ru's hand, and shook it coquettishly, as an apology. "What are you looking at? Is there anything to see? Don't I have one?" Just when Bai Yu was about to say the words of promise, a big white leg stretched out and stepped on Bai Yu's face. Yan Yan loves racing and sports. Her long legs are not only straight and slender, but her skin is also tight. Now when she exerts force, the muscles on her legs contract, making her calves even more slender. She was already wearing a pair of shorts today, so she didn't need to pull them up at all, her thighs were on the outside. Baiyu's attention was finally diverted from the big white legs that suddenly appeared in front of him. Yan Yan usually dresses boldly, and it's not that Baiyu has never seen her legs, but he hasn't stared at her legs so closely. Now that I have a chance, why don't you see enough? Snapped. Just look at it, do you still want to touch it? Yan Yan reached out and patted half of Baiyu's outstretched hand away, and said viciously. At the same time, a pair of eyes glared at Luoxin and Mu with displeasure. Originally, Yan Yan didn't care who Baiyu liked to watch or like. After all, they are just classmates, and there is no affection at all. It's just that Luoxin actually used this method to rob her team members, so Yan Yan quit. Although the team's name is Shui Yu, and the captain is also Baiyu, it doesn't seem to have anything to do with Yan Yan. But she was the one who pulled up this team, and she also found the players. Now someone is poaching the wall in front of her. Of course Yan Yan was not happy. Isn't it just a sacrifice of Hu? Let this fool see the legs. It's better than the players being robbed. Yan Yan looked at Baiyu's appearance. If she was late, she would probably agree. Yan Yan. Luoxu opened her mouth once in a while, and then stretched out her hand to pull Yan Yan back. She seemed to be smiling, but upon closer inspection, she was still expressionless. Baiyu also came to his senses. Mu Ru's team can't be added. The quality of their team is not as high as our own. There are two beauties at Moreau's level in our team. Ahem. That. Senior Luoxin, please show some respect. I am a gentleman, I will not be tempted by beauty. Baiyu cleared his throat and said solemnly. Yan Yan rolled her eyes. Still a gentleman. I didn't know who it was just now, but when I saw his big white legs, my eyes almost popped out. It didn't break him though. Let's go, let's see. Before Luoxin Moreau could answer, Yan Yan pushed Baiyu and walked towards the school. Baiyu hurriedly followed. Both Luoxin and Mu Ru feel a little regretful about Baiyu's unwillingness to form a team with them. They actually have a team of 5, if Baiyu joins, it will become a team of 6. A team of 5 is the combination of people with the most experience. If there is one more person, the efficiency of gaining experience will be lower, so generally speaking, the team is a team of 5. Luoxin invited Baiyu because he also wanted to establish a good relationship with his treatment. Baiyu, come with me to the office. As soon as he entered the school gate, Baiyu was called away by Lao Wu again. What? Arriving at the office, Baiyu naturally pulled a chair and sat down. Baiyu used to feel uncomfortable in front of Lao Wu, it was because he felt a little ashamed of Lao Wu. But now it's different, he has the awakening skill, so the old Wu who brought him to the school naturally has a bright face. Lao Wu didn't care about Baiyu's foolishness, after all, Baiyu was not a good baby. In other words, when old Wu met Baiyu for the first time, this kid was fighting with others, relying on his desperate aura, he won't be defeated in one fight. It was also in this way that Lao Wu discovered Baiyu's super self-healing ability and knew that he was a healing department. I have reported your situation to the principal, and the school has decided that you will represent the school in the college entrance examination the day after tomorrow as the treatment. Old Wu said. No, Baiyu would not do anything that is not beneficial. Although transforming power can be regarded as a gain, but Baiyu will not agree if the school doesn't do anything. There is a salary, 2,000 a day, do you want to go or not? Old Wu naturally also understood Baiyu's temperament, and said with a smile on his face. The day after tomorrow, remember to call me. Baiyu immediately changed his face and said with a bright smile. 2,000 a day is really high, but Baiyu also understands that this job is definitely not easy. The college entrance examination is an exam related to the future and destiny. The students will definitely not hold back, even if they are seriously injured in the battle, they will continue to fight. Fortunately, the college entrance examination is not a battle between the students, otherwise, people might die. There will definitely be a lot of people injured in an exam of this intensity. I'm afraid he will be exhausted to death. Baiyu guessed right. Every year in the college entrance examination, a large number of students will be injured, he is really busy enough. Also, not all schools have therapy. If there is no treatment in this school, then you can only pay a certain price and ask other schools for help. The scorching June is the time for the college entrance examination. For students in ordinary schools, this is the time to write and look forward to the future. But for these students who are the awakened combatants, it's time to do their best to create a future. In the college entrance examination for the awakened, the written test is not the focus is on the results of the battle. Bai received the notice early on, asking him to go to the examination room with his seniors. There are 5 awakened high schools in Wuchang, with thousands of students taking the college entrance examination, but there is only one examination room, which is the largest indoor stadium in Wuchang. Here, there is a multi-space entrance connected to the mysterious system. This is a device obtained from the system after humans have finally figured out some ways to establish contact with the mysterious system after 100 years. No one knows how it works, but everyone knows what it does. This is a fixed entrance, and there are countless mirror spaces inside, and everything in each mirror space is exactly the same. There are some virtual monsters generated by the mysterious system. The level is between 10 to 20. Killing all the monsters in the space counts as clearance, and you can get some clearance rewards from the mysterious system. If you choose to give up before killing all the monsters, it will be regarded as not passing the level and there will be no rewards. It's just a copy. There is one such device in every city, and the functions are basically the same. It is used as an examination question for the college entrance examination. Anyway, after each team enters, the situation they face is the same, absolutely fair. The performance of each team in the mirror space will be recorded and scored. And the most intuitive scoring item is the clearance time. The shorter the clearance time, the better the score. After clearing the mirror space, there is another option, which is to challenge the ultimate boss at level 20. This boss is not a must-kill, you can exit directly after clearing the level, and the rewards will also be settled. But if you kill this boss, the reward will be even richer. It's like an extra question in an exam. If you did all the previous questions correctly, you will get a full score of 100. But if you still want to get a higher score, it depends on your ability to answer the 20-point additional question correctly. Naturally, Bai doesn't pay attention to these things now. He doesn't even listen to the class, so how can he pay attention to the content of the college entrance examination that is still a year away from him? This is what Mu-Ru told him. On the way to the test center, Bai didn't know each other well with the third-year group, not to mention the teacher leading the team, and felt uncomfortable staying together, so he mixed into Mu-Ru's team. Mu-Ru's team of 5, 3 men and 2 women. The 2 girls are naturally Mu-Ru and Luo Xin. 3 men, one is Luo Xin's boyfriend, and the other 2 are Mu-Ru's admirers. Luo Xin's boyfriend is a boy who looks honest and a little handsome. This boy seems to have eyes full of Luo Xin, walking along the way, with Luo Xin, you and me, but he has never looked at Mu-Ru. Bai could tell from his eyes that he really liked Luo Xin like this. As for the other 2, their eyes almost never left Mu-Ru's body along the way, and the love in their eyes almost overflowed. Although they like Mu-Ru and have joined Mu-Ru's team, they still dare not take any overstepping actions, for fear of arousing Mu-Ru's resentment. They were both envious and jealous of Bai who could sit beside Mu-Ru and make fun of him from time to time. But they also knew Bai, who was in the healing department, and they didn't want to offend him, so they didn't show any malice. Bai heard everything about the college entrance examination from Mu-Ru. Usually, Mu-Ru doesn't talk much, and when she sees Bai, Luo Xin is basically the one who talks. But now that Luo Xin's boyfriend is here, it's hard for Luo Xin to be too enthusiastic. Therefore, it was Mu-Ru who chatted with Bai. Mu-Ru has a gentle personality, and her voice is soft and waxy, which is very nice. She won't be like Yan Yan, who can't stop talking like a cannonball when she talks. It won't be like Luo Shui, who can't hear her squeak for a long time. She will listen to you quietly, and then pick up a sentence or 2 when it's just right. In short, getting along with Moreau will give people a very comfortable feeling. Bai learned about the whole process of the college entrance examination in such casual chats. Not long after, candidates from No. 3 middle school had already arrived at the examination center, and Mu-Ru and the others were going to gather. As a logistics staff member, Bai naturally didn't have to go there. Looking at the dense crowd of examinees in the center of the gymnasium, Bai found a corner with no people and sat down. Anyway, I don't know other people well, so I don't want to join in the fun. The exam hasn't started yet, and there are no wounded who need his treatment, so it's better to take this time to rest for a while. Although candidates have already known the rules of the exam through various channels before the college entrance examination comes, the process still has to go. Before the exam, a teacher read the exam rules and scoring rules to all the candidates. It's a long article, and I don't know how many people are listening carefully. Anyway, Bai could hear the voices of the crowd talking from far away. Obviously all chatting, not many people care. Regarding the rules, they have been familiar with it for countless times, and even checked online if there is any way to cheat. Regarding the combat department's college entrance examination, cheating is not a violation of discipline. As long as you have the ability to let the mysterious system admit that you have passed the level, even if you don't kill a monster. It's a pity that the mysterious system's evaluation standard for customs clearance is to kill all the monsters in the mirror space, even if there is one less. If any team is unlucky and happens to encounter a monster that wanders into a hidden corner and cannot come out, then go around and look for it. Just when Bai was about to fall asleep, the long discussion about the rules and details finally came to an end, and the exam was about to begin. All the candidates assembled in the gymnasium were also disbanded. Each of them took a small team as a unit and chose to take a short rest to adjust their status, or directly start. When you want to start, just go directly to the space gate, enter the information of the team members, and then go in. The timing starts from the first monster encountered and ends when the last monster falls down. Ru and the others didn't start directly, but found Bai in the corner. How is it? Are you nervous? Seeing Ru and the others coming, Bai stopped dozing and regained his energy. However, his eyes glanced at Ru's legs again. Although it was only for a short moment, Ru still noticed it keenly, her little face flushed slightly. Ru nodded slightly. Yeah, I've been preparing for this day for a whole year. I thought I was well prepared and I wouldn't be nervous, but when things come to an end, I still can't help but worry. Luo Xin was not in the mood to flirt with her boyfriend at this time, and she looked sad. The three boys on the side also nodded slightly. Hee, I'm not nervous at all. Bai smiled cheaply. Would you like to give you a massage to relax? Speaking of massage, Bai recalled the wonderful touch back then, and couldn't help rubbing his hands together. Don't want. With so many people watching, why is Ru so embarrassed? The last time she was injured, she had no choice but to let Bai take advantage of it. Now, she will not let Bai get his way. Then I can only wish you luck. By the way, after clearing the level, you can accidentally twist your foot. Bai said to Moreau. Ru didn't say anything, just gave Bai a blank look, and immediately didn't want to stay here any longer, and led the team directly towards the space gate. She could tell that Bai just couldn't forget her legs. But after Bai interrupted them, they were not so nervous, and they should be able to perform well in the exam at this time. Bai watched them enter the space door, and after a ripple, the five disappeared in front of the door. As soon as the five entered the mirror space, they immediately formed a battle formation. Ru's two admirers are both of the strength department. At this time, the awakening technique is activated, and the muscles of the whole body are stretched out, and the clothes on the upper body are stretched into rags. The two stood at the forefront of the team, posing in a defensive posture. A khaki light flashed on Luo Xin's boyfriend. Awakening skill, Stone Skin. He is an ability user of the Earth system, and the first awakening skill is the Stone Skin that strengthens the defense. At this time, it is blessed on the body of the two power systems, and the defense power has been greatly improved again. Luo Xin has also grown a pair of cat ears, and her nails have become sharp, but she is an ability user of the animal transformation system. According to the characteristics of animalization, the animalization system is good at fighting in different ways. Luo Xin's animalization is not the type that is good at defense, but the sensitive attack type. At the edge of the examination room, Bai was bored with his mobile phone and connected to the internet, intending to watch the live broadcast of the battles of these candidates. As for who to look at, of course it depends on acquaintances. Luo Xin's veterinary appearance happened to be spotted by Bai. The usual Luo Xin is indeed a beauty, but there is still a gap compared to Ru. But now after the animalization, it has a different style. On the side, Luo Xin's boyfriend kept looking back and forth between Luo Xin's ears and tail. His face was slightly red, and he didn't know what he thought of. No wonder he doesn't even look at Mu Ru, it turns out he likes this tune. All four of them were ready to fight, and only Mu Ru stood in the center, unmoved. The four of them maintained this formation and moved forward slowly. Soon, they encountered their first monster. When the first monster appeared in front of them, Bai Yu understood why Mu Ru didn't need to prepare for battle. Because she is an elemental mage, with a pure output of the water system, there is no need to prepare at all. This is a blue-skinned goblin, short, with a big nose. It doesn't seem to be very threatening, just like the Smurfs in cartoons. Such monsters naturally do not exist in reality, they are generated by the system. If you are confused by his appearance, then the big stick in his hand will tell you that he is not easy to mess with. The level of goblins is 15, which is slightly lower than the candidates. Moreover, judging by the appearance of the weapon in his hand, it has no long-range attack ability. This is why Bai Yu would guess here. This mirror space has long been thoroughly researched. When will you encounter any monsters? What the candidates want is to rely on their own excellent strength to kill all the way. This is an exam, and time represents the score. The less time it takes, the higher the score will be. Therefore, Mu Ru and the others did not delay at all. The moment they saw the goblin, they had already launched an attack. Awakening skill. Water bomb impact. Mu Ru, who has the ability to attack from a long distance, launched the attack first, while the two admirers and Luo Xin rushed up. Before the goblin could see his opponent clearly, he was knocked to the ground by the oncoming water bomb. Just as he was about to get up, two muscular men stepped up and pressed him hard to the ground. Afterwards, Luo Xin's sharp claws grabbed his throat, blood shot out, and the goblin's head moved directly. Bai Yu, who had never experienced combat, was taken aback by this bloody scene, and at the same time looked at Luo Xin with admiration. This girl is so ruthless. The first monster was eliminated with lightning speed, the team did not stop, and continued to move forward without stopping. At the same time, the 5 people took out weapons from nowhere and held them in their hands. In Mu Ru's hand is a water blue staff, Luo Xin is a claw blade, and Luo Xin's boyfriend Qian Hao is a khaki staff. As for the pair of muscular men, each had a round shield with a diameter of half a meter on one side, and a dagger in the other hand. Presumably they are not only responsible for defense, they can also attack when needed. The mobs at level 15 or 6 can't hinder the speed of the team's progress. Meeting them is instant kill. It wasn't until the level and number of monsters became higher and higher that the team's progress slowed down. But it was just slowing down, and it didn't stop them from moving forward. Moreau's team is still very strong, plus the team was formed, basically during the summer vacation after the end of the second year of high school. Their team has been in it for a year, and everyone's cooperation is also very tacit, and the combat effectiveness is not bad. It wasn't until they encountered the first leader-level monster that they stopped advancing. The leader-level monster is the most powerful in a group of monsters. If you encounter a leader-level monster in the wild, you can pick an evolution beat out of its head after killing it. Because the monster leader in the wild is actually an ordinary beast that evolved after obtaining mysterious power from the system, there will still be residual power in the head, which will condense into beads after death, which is the evolution bead. This thing can also be used by humans, and it can be used to evolve the awakening technique and increase its power. And the monster leader in this mirror space is directly generated by the system, and there is no evolutionary power in his body. After killing him, he has nothing but experience. The leader of this monster is a goblin warrior with the same blue skin and a big nose, but he is taller. Ordinary goblin mobs are only about 1 meter tall, this guy is almost 1.3 meters tall, and his muscles are not inferior to those two hunks. And he was still wearing broken armor, holding a giant mace as thick as his thigh. I don't know if it's the bad taste of the system, but there are still blood stains and some shredded meat on the mace, which looks hideous and terrifying. The leader deserves to be the leader. Compared with the mobs, his IQ is obviously much higher. At least he can talk. Although it was in an incomprehensible goblin language, judging from his fierce expression and provocative body movements, it was probably not a good thing to say. Mu Ru and the others obviously had no interest in knowing what the goblin warriors were talking about. After meeting, they immediately followed the plan that had been made before and launched the attack. The two power systems held up their shields and pushed forward. However, the two of them are not full of muscles in their brains. When facing the powerful goblin general, some attacks that could be avoided, they still chose to dodge, and did not resist. And Qianhao's released his second awakening skill. Awakening skill. Mud. His second awakening skill is not a defensive skill, but a control skill. After the skill was activated, the ground where the goblin warlord was located suddenly turned into a piece of mud, which caused the goblin warlord's speed to drop sharply, and he couldn't even turn around so flexibly. Moreover, the muddy ground was not easy to leverage, and the strength of the mace he swung was a bit weaker. The pressure on the two strength systems was greatly reduced after he released this skill. With the tacit cooperation of the three, the goblin warlord was confined to the same place, dealing with the two power systems, and had no time to take care of the three in the distance. At this time, Mu-Ru also launched an attack. Awakening technique. Water cutting. Moreau's second awakening skill is no longer a burst damage skill, but a continuous damage skill. A large amount of water continuously washes against the goblin warlord's body. Every time the water washes, it leaves several wounds on his body, and blue blood flows out from the wounds. At this moment, the arrogance and provocation on the face of the goblin warlord were replaced by an expression of anxiety. He also knew that if this continued, he would be finished. But there was nothing he could do. The impact of the water flow would not only cut his body, but also make his inflexible body a little unstable. Anxiously, he waved the mace indiscriminately, smashing the shields of the two people in front of him with a bang. Unfortunately, his struggle was in vain. With the tacit cooperation of the five of them, he didn't even have room to fight back. Especially after Luo Xin also joined the attack, the speed of his death was accelerated. Although Blue Star was made like an online game by the mysterious system, monsters don't have blood bars, and they won't be like online games. As long as there is a trace of blood, they can still be alive and kicking. As the injury worsened, the goblin warlord's movements became more sluggish, and he fell into a pool of blood before he even had time to wail. In the final analysis, he was just a level 18 boss monster. Facing 5 people of the same level, his attribute advantage was not great, so it was reasonable to be killed. If it's a level 90 leader, it's not something 5 level 90 humans can deal with. The mirror space used in the college entrance examination is not a difficult existence at all, it is just a thing to evaluate the strength of senior high school students. If you are not strong enough, it may be a problem to pass the level. But if you have absolute strength, it is also possible to crush them directly. Mu-Ru's team is definitely not weak, but it's not to the extent that they can crush it. From seeing the Goblin Warlord to the Goblin Warlord's fall, it took them less than 5 minutes. Killing the Goblin Warlord meant that their exam had entered the second stage. There are 3 phases in this mirror space. The mobs in the second stage are stronger than the previous ones, and their levels are all 18. Ordinary mobs at level 18 can't beat level 18 humans in a single duel, not to mention Mu-Ru and the others are a team of 5. Along the way, there is still no difficulty in crushing. In fact, there was nothing outstanding about Mu-Ru and his team's battle process, and it was just that they cooperated more skillfully. Such teams can be found everywhere in the college entrance examination. But Bai Yu still watched with gusto. Apart from looking at the beauties, what Bai Yu sees more is their teamwork and command. After all, he is also about to form a team, and he still needs to learn about these things. Although the composition of the two teams is different, there are still things worth learning. Combat in a team is not about swarming up when there are enough people. Even if it's just a position, he is knowledgeable. He can't stand at the front with a healer, and face the opponent's attack directly. Before he knew it, Bai Yu had been watching for nearly half an hour, and Mu-Ru's exam was coming to an end. The leader of the second stage still failed to survive 5 minutes before collapsing. The level of mobs in the third stage has been raised to level 19, and the number is even greater. This made the teams progress a lot slower. After a hard fight, they finally reached the third stage, that is, in front of the final leader. The level of the boss in the third stage is the same as that of the mobs in the third stage, which is also level 19. After all, when you reach level 20, your grade will be upgraded by 1 level, and your attributes will be different. However, this leader is still much stronger than the leader of the second stage. What should I do? Hit me directly. The Macho A turned his head and asked Mu-Ru. Although Mu-Ru is gentle, she is the commander of the whole team. Although they have reached the last leader's place now, they have exhausted their spiritual energy all the way, and their combat effectiveness has been greatly reduced. If you fight directly, the winning rate is very low. But now it's an exam, and every second is racing against time. If there is one more second, there will be no one knows how many more rankings will be in the middle. No, you can't hit directly. In Mu-Ru's gentle voice, there is an unquestionable determination. Why, isn't it time to grab the time? Macho A is puzzled. Sharpening a knife is not the same as chopping firewood, do you understand? Macho B brushed up his sense of presence in a timely manner. Well, what he said is correct. Our current state is not suitable for direct combat. If we really fight, we can definitely win, but it will definitely take more time. Maybe someone will be injured. The loss outweighs the gain. Mu-Ru said. Then what do we do now? Rest. Macho A mentioned a possibility that he thought was unlikely. Yes, take a break first, recover your physical and spiritual strength, and then take down the leader with a thunderous force. The time should be faster. Mu-Ru made the final decision. Bai Yu nodded slightly and made another note. As a commander, you can't be greedy for meritorious deeds. One person's decision is related to the life and death of everyone in the entire team. Another 5 minutes later, the 5 people sitting on the ground in the mirrored space stood up. Although their physical and spiritual strength had not been fully recovered, they had recovered at least 80%, and their combat effectiveness had basically returned to their peak state. Kill. They had been hiding out of the sight of the third stage leader to recover, but now they came out and immediately attracted attention. They weren't the only ones who started killing. For the monster leader, the humans who stepped into his territory should be killed. Therefore, it was not Mu-Ru's team that launched the attack first, but the monster leader. As a system-generated monster, he has settings that go against common sense. Because he is a master of both magic and martial arts. During the charge, the giant sword in the hands of the monster leader glowed with blue and white light. This is the color of ice skills. The monster leader added ice skills to his giant sword. Boom! The giant sword slashed down, but was blocked by Macho A with a shield. As for himself, he was directly sent flying 5 or 6 meters by the powerful force of the blow, and he rolled before stopping after landing. After the Macho A got up, he shook his numb arm, put away his dagger, held the shield in both hands, and rushed up again. This leader is obviously not something he can stand up to with a sword in one hand and a shield in the other. From now on, he only needs to concentrate on defense, and give the attack to Mu-Ru and Luo Xin. And Hunk B had already realized the strength of the leader when Hunk A was kicked away. At this time, he was holding a shield with both hands, resisting the attack of the leader, and circling there. Hurry up, I can't stand it anymore. After being hit twice, the Macho B didn't show his strength, and directly called for help. Although the two are rivals in love, their cooperation in battle is extremely tacit. After Macho A rejoined the battle circle and Qian Hao's stone skin fell, they finally gained a firm foothold. Awakening skill, Blade Assault. With a soft drink, Luo Xin made a move. Taking advantage of the leader's attention being attracted by the two power systems, she launched a surprise attack from the side. It has to be said that the leader of the monster is a master. He still has the ability to see all directions and listen to all directions. Although he was entangled by the two people in front of him, he did not relax his vigilance for a moment. When Luo Xin's claw blade was slashing towards the leader's throat, he dodged it with a slight sideways movement. When he wanted to attack Luo Xin, who had missed the attack, he found that his foot slipped and he couldn't use his strength, so the giant sword in his hand couldn't strike. This was the activation of Qian Hao's mud skill. The leader felt as if he was stepping on a puddle of mud, and his movements were not so flexible. This is the benefit of the team, everyone can play their due role. At this moment, Mu-Ru's attack also fell. Each of the 5 showed their strengths, brought their own abilities to the fullest, and fought against the monster leader inextricably. Outside the mirror space, Bai Yu was holding his mobile phone and watching it mesmerizingly. He hadn't seen such a battle at all. There are a lot of battle videos on the internet, but they are all shot from a fixed angle of view. How can it be like this now that you can adjust the angle of view by yourself, and you can watch wherever you want? The leader of the third stage finally failed to escape his fate and fell at the feet of the team. After a hard fight, the 5 of Moreau finally cleared the mirror space, with a final score of 43 minutes 52 seconds and 55 milliseconds. This result is already considered very good. There are some teams that entered the mirror space earlier than them, and they are still fighting. It can be regarded as clearing the level. I am exhausted. Luo Xin put away the claw blade, and sat down directly, regardless of whether the ground was dirty or not. After this battle, she has definitely exercised the most. Every attack needs to go through continuous wandering to find an opportunity, and when she seizes the opportunity, she will make a surprise attack. In the past 40 minutes, her WeChat steps have definitely maxed out. Qian Hao squatted behind her with a heartbroken expression, pinched her shoulders, and kept asking her about her health and caring. Mu Ru is not easy either. She is the main force of the whole team's attack. In this battle, the spiritual power in her body was almost exhausted, but she was much more reserved than Luo Xin, and found a clean big rock to sit down on. The moment the leader fell, the timer had already ended, and if they couldn't get out, it wouldn't affect the results, so they were in no hurry to get out. The two power departments looked at Qian Hao, who was pinching Luo Xin's shoulders with envious expressions on their faces, and at the same time secretly looked at Mu Ru, who was beside him. They wanted to go up and help Mu Ru squeeze her shoulders. But they also knew that if they really dared to pinch, maybe Mu Ru would not turn his face on the spot, but in this team, they might not have a place in the future. Mu Ru is extraordinarily soft and strong inside, and it is difficult to change the things he decides. When they expressed their feelings, Mu Ru had clearly told them that she didn't like any of them. It was the two who voluntarily stayed and teamed up with Moreau. During this year, Mu Ru didn't boss them around just because they admired her, she treated them as friends. If the two of them make any overstepping moves, I'm afraid, this friend will be done. Sighing slightly, the two tough men looked at each other and sat down not far from Moreau. Sometimes, it's nice to be able to watch from such a close distance. After a short rest, several people regained their vitality. Do you want to try it? It was Luo Xin who spoke. Although she didn't say it clearly, everyone understood her meaning from her excited expression and her eyes staring at the cave at the end of the mirror space. She wants to try that level 20 mysterious leader. Forget it, even though it's only 2 levels higher than us, it's a higher level after all. We're only at the yellow level, and that guy is at the mysterious level. Compared with Luo Xin, Qian Hao is much more stable, but Luo Xin is his girlfriend, so he said it more tactfully. If someone else said it, he might just start scolding directly. Kill the mysterious leader. Not alive enough. Go and have a look. It's not necessary to kill, just to see it. If it doesn't work, let's just return it. Luo Xin shook Qian Hao's arm, coquettishly. This shake made Qian Hao's bones crisp. In desperation, she secretly sighed the little goblin, then nodded, and looked at Moreau together. Although Qian Hao agreed, but the captain is Mu Ru. Although the captain has no real power, in a team, if the captain leads the team well, he will have prestige, and every decision can convince the team members. And Mu Ru obviously achieved this, so Luo Xin and Qian Hao are seeking Mu Ru's opinion. If Mu Ru disagrees, no matter how much they want to see it, they will not go against Mu Ru's intention. As for the two muscular men, forget it, what can they say? It's nothing more than obeying Mu Ru's orders. In fact, Moreau didn't want to cause extra problems. The exam has been successfully completed, going out now is the best choice. But she couldn't stand Luo Xin's coquettish tone and pleading. A woman who can act like a baby is invincible, men and women take it all. Moreover, Mu Ru herself is not so curious. She hasn't seen a Zon-level leader in reality yet, so why isn't she curious? Let's take a look. Let's talk about it first. If there is anything wrong, get out immediately. No one is allowed to show off. Although she agreed, Mu Ru warned everyone with a serious face. The leader of the mysterious level, his strength is not comparable to the rubbish of the yellow level. If you want to have the strength to compete with the monsters of the mysterious leader level, you must have at least one mysterious level talent in the team, otherwise, no one can withstand the attack of the mysterious leader. Aha! The other four nodded their heads like pounding garlic. Obviously everyone is curious about the guy in the cave. At this time, everyone has recovered, so they formed a battle formation, and explored the cave carefully. About what is in this cave, they are not the only ones who are curious, almost everyone is curious. They are definitely not the first to have the idea of exploring caves, nor will they be the last. Previous exploration teams have never been successful. There is a video posted by someone on the internet, which was taken by the team when they were exploring the cave. They just wanted to record this moment and let everyone see what is in the cave. But the video was too shaky. The first part was quite normal, that is, the slight shaking when people walked, but after entering the cave, accompanied by the roar of a monster, the silver light flashed, the camera began to shake non-stop, and there were all kinds of noises. The shouts, obviously the appearance of the monster leader caused them great panic. It was also the exposure of this video that made everyone curious about this mysterious leader. Zon level is not a high level, that is, a rating between 20 to 29. But this is the mirror space used for the college entrance examination. Those who can enter here are all senior high school students, and basically no one at level 20. Therefore, this monster leader has become a mysterious and powerful existence. So far, no one has even seen his full appearance. The team of 5 slowly approached the cave. After approaching, you can see that there is a circle of runes around the entrance of the cave, which should be used to limit the monster leaders in the cave. Without the existence of this circle of runes, those students who explored the cave out of curiosity would have died. It is precisely because of the existence of this circle of runes that they have the courage to explore the cave. Because they knew that as long as they retreated beyond this circle of runes before being attacked, their lives would not be in danger. Bayou's live broadcast angle can no longer be rotated freely at this time, because this is already a part outside the mirror space, so some people use their own cameras to take pictures of the scene inside the cave. Because there will be no things in this cave in the live broadcast. Bayou was also curious about what the leader in the cave was, but he couldn't follow through with his perspective, so he could only worry. Maybe, after Muru and the others come out and ask, they will know what's inside. In the cave that Bayou couldn't see, the 5 of them had already crossed the circle of runes. Fortunately, the cave was wide enough, and the formation of the 5 of them was not chaotic at all. Roar! Just after they stepped over the rune, there was a loud roar, a silver light flashed, and a huge figure rushed towards them. The 5 of them panicked immediately. Withdraw! Quickly withdraw! The moment the leader appeared, Muru made a decisive decision and immediately asked everyone to evacuate. Although he hadn't had time to see the leader's appearance clearly, Muru felt that the 5 of them were absolutely impossible to be the leader's opponent with the extremely oppressive aura coming towards him. If it rushes to the front, I'm afraid they won't even have a chance to retreat. Yes, this Zon-level leader is not him, but it. Although it is just a quick glance, Muru has already seen its general appearance. This is a giant silver-white wolf. Unlike an ordinary creature, it is a mechanical creature. At the same time that Muru made a sound, Qian Hao stretched out his hand and pulled Luo Xin back, pushing him behind. At the critical moment, his first reaction was to protect Luo Xin, completely forgetting that Luo Xin's fighting power was still higher than his. Muru was also retreating in an orderly manner, and by the way threw a water bomb out. Regardless of whether it is useful or not, a second is a second if it can be delayed. The monster leader's strength is too strong, and his speed is extremely fast. She only saw an afterimage just now. Go first, I'll cover you. The Macho Bee roared, raised his shield and stopped. He wants to use himself to hold down the monster leader. However, he has no chance. Hurry up, get in the way. The Macho bumped hard, knocking him backwards until he exited the rune circle. The monster leader's attack has been launched, but the target does not know who it is. At this time, whoever stays last is the most likely to become the target of attack. At this moment, Luo Xin, who was pushed back by Qian Hao, Muru, who saw the opportunity the fastest, and the Hunkbee, who was knocked out, all 3 of them had retreated outside the rune circle. The only ones who may be attacked now are Qian Hao and the Macho A. Awakening skill. 5 times the power increase. Awakening skill. Stone Skin. Macho A and Qian Hao's awakening skills were activated together, and all of them were applied to Macho A. The 2 are also teammates who have cooperated for a year. At critical moments, they trust each other. Qian Hao didn't give the defensive skill to himself, but gave it to the Macho A. He knew that at this time, Hunka would definitely stand in front of him. Really, Macho A did not let him down. He even saved his love rival, who was missing. The Macho A's body, which appeared more majestic after being boosted, stepped forward in one step, blocking Qian Hao's body. Just when he had just completed the movement of crossing, a huge force came from his hand. Before he could see his opponent clearly, he was sent flying. And Qian Hao, who was behind him, also flew up with him. The two fell out of the rune circle together. How about it? It's okay. The three people outside the circle looked at the two who fell out with worried expressions on their faces. I'm dying. Qian Hao was pressed down by the huge body of Hunk A, and felt that he couldn't breathe anymore. After he forced himself to say a word, he couldn't speak anymore. And on his body, the Macho A's face was pale, and his eyes were full of fear. Stand up if you are not dead. With red eyes, Hunk B pulled Hunk up. Obviously, he was dissatisfied with Hunk A's behavior of pushing himself out and leaving him alone to face the leader. You are so gentle, I have a broken arm. Macho A gritted his teeth and said. At this time, everyone noticed that his hand holding the shield was hanging limply by his side, the skin was red and swollen, and it looked a little weird. Go out and find Bai Yu, he can cure it. Moreau said. Strong Man B quickly supported Strong Man A, and the five of them walked towards the exit. In addition to the location of the space gate, the test center is also divided into several areas, which are divided for each school. Every year in the college entrance examination, some students are injured, and this is where they deal with their injuries. Schools with treatment naturally let the treatment take action, and the effect is immediate. If there is no treatment, then only conventional medical methods can be used. Of course, if the relationship between the two schools is relatively good, and if you pay some price, it is not impossible to ask other schools for treatment. By this time Bai Yu had already come out from the corner. More than an hour has passed since the exam started, and many teams have already come out of the mirror space. The injured students naturally come here to seek treatment from Bai Yu. After Bai Yu got his salary, he would naturally not be ambiguous about what he should do. As long as the wounded who came over were from the third middle school, no matter how serious the injury was, they would all be taken care of easily. There were nearly 400 students in the number. 3 middle school who took the exam. Of course, it is impossible for all of them to be injured. Those who will be injured are usually caused by the team's lack of coordination, or their own lack of strength, or paralysis. However, the number is not large, and there are still many students who have not come out of the mirror space, so Bai Yu is not too busy. Bai Yu, hurry up and help. Bai Yu just finished treating a student who was cut by the leader of the third stage when he heard Luo Xin's anxious voice. The crowd parted, the Macho B walked like flying, and dashed towards him with the Macho A on his back. Mu Ru, Luo Xin, and Qian Hao also followed closely. The current situation of the Slugger A is not optimistic. At the beginning, he was brave enough to say no to Bai Yuji. After all, in his opinion, Bai Yu is also a competitor, and a very powerful one at that. Mu Ru's attitude towards Bai Yu is a bit too kind. But as the injury broke out, he didn't even have the energy to speak. At this time, his right forearm was swollen thicker than his thigh. The blow of the Zon level leader was not a joke. Although the powerful force was blocked by the shield, the shock force transmitted still fractured his arm and tore large pieces of muscle. However, although this injury was serious, to Bai Yu, it was just a matter of spending a little more spiritual energy. Bai Yu stretched out his hand and brushed the arm of the Macho A. The magical hand rejuvenation was activated, and the spiritual power poured into his arm, eliminating the pain and starting to heal his injury at the same time. Although the pain disappeared, the Hunk A's face was still flushed. He is holding back. Just now he was the one who clamored that he would never accept Bai Yu's favor, but now Bai Yu healed his injury. He is not an ungrateful person, but a word of thanks is on his lips, but he just doesn't know how to say it. Step aside. Hurry up. Treat my brother. Just when Hunk A was embarrassed, an arm stretched out, pushed Hunk aside, and said to Bai Yu arrogantly. Hearing this voice, Bai Yu frowned. Although he was paid, he didn't come here to be ordered around by others. The tone of this person was obviously the feeling that he was being ordered by others. Following the sound, a group of 5 people pushed through the crowd and walked in. The leader was a well-dressed boy. During such a fierce battle in the college entrance examination, he didn't even mess up his hairstyle. In addition to having a bit of strength, I'm afraid there is also a bit of stinky fart. Behind him, several boys supported a wounded man so that he could come to Baiyu without touching the ground. Baiyu squinted at the man's injuries. On his buttocks, there was a spike with an irregular shape. What the hell is this? I have also cleared the level, why didn't I see such a weapon inside? I didn't see it either. There were a lot of onlookers. Seeing the spikes on his buttocks, they had a heated discussion. I haven't seen such a shape, but this material seems to be the sword of the leader of the 3rd stage. In the 3rd stage, the boss is the only one with a sword in the mirror space, so everyone has noticed. However, no one reminded me, and I didn't think about that. Now that someone mentions it, everyone looks more and more like it. What the hell did this guy do? Let the leader of the 3rd stage break his sword and stab him? The answer to this question is not difficult to find. As long as you look at their exam video, you can find the answer. Those with quick brains have already turned on their phones and started searching for their videos. After all, they are all from the same school. Even if they are not familiar with each other, at least they know each other. And in this short process, they had already walked in front of Baiyu and pushed the macho A aside. Chinen, what do you mean? Mu-ru, who was at the side, looked unkind when seeing this leading boy. Oh, Roro is here too. My team member is injured. Of course I have to come over for treatment. Someone with blind eyes is blocking my way. Of course I have to ask him to go aside. Chinen glanced at Mu-ru, the light in his eyes flickered slightly, then he restrained himself, and said in a calm tone. What the hell are you saying, who doesn't have eyes? The hunk bee stood in front of Mu-ru, staring at Chinen with big eyes. Of course he knows Chinen, and he is also Mu-ru's suitor. His family seems to be quite rich, and he looks like a dog every day. But this guy is very strong, and the teammates he recruited are also very strong. Although Hunk B and Hunk are rivals in love, they are also teammates. If someone bullies them, he will naturally stand up. Oh, aren't you that so-and-so? Forget it, you don't deserve to have a name, get out of the way, don't delay my brother's treatment. Chinen looked disdainful, and couldn't even remember the other party's name, which showed that he didn't take the macho B seriously. At this time, Hunka also stood up and stood together with Hunk B, and there was a tendency to strike if there was a disagreement. Hey, you haven't fully healed yet, so it's not advisable to do it yet. Compared with Chinen, Baiyu and Mu-ru Luoshin are obviously more familiar, so he kindly reminded the macho A. It's none of your business, why don't you hurry up and treat your injuries? Seeing that Baiyu, a sophomore in high school, hadn't taken any action to treat him, but instead had the mood to remind others, Chinen was very upset, so he cursed. Yo, it's quite violent, I don't want to treat it right now. Baiyu is not a master of submissiveness. If you have a better attitude, maybe you can be cured for you. If you act like you are superior, Baiyu will not talk to you if you shout around. You said that if you don't cure it, you won't be cured. I know you. You came here with a salary. It's your job to treat injuries. My dad is a shareholder of the school. Be careful to fire you. Chinen was furious when he saw that Baiyu was so shameless. Expulsion. It's really serious, but I have no spiritual power now, just wait and treat him when I recover. In fact, Baiyu is not afraid of being expelled. He is for treatment. The 3rd middle school does not want him, but the school wants more. But he also understands that if others have power, they can't be tough, even if they want to offend, they have to be reasonable. I am a healer, but spiritual power is needed to perform skills. Without spiritual power, of course it cannot be cured. After finishing speaking, Baiyu pretended to recover his spiritual power. Now, Chinen has nothing to say. No matter how unreasonable he is, there is no way for a healer who has no spiritual power to release his skills. Brother, be patient. In desperation, Chinen had no choice but to turn his head and say something to the buddy behind him. That buddy doesn't want to wait, but there's nothing he can do, he can only endure the pain, he doesn't stand or sit now. Just like that, being supported by two people, watching Bai Yu recover anxiously. At this time, another wounded came. Qin and naturally didn't want people to jump in line, they had been waiting for a while, and after Bai Yu recovered his spiritual power, it was natural that they should treat their wounded first. Wait, but before he could say a word, Bai Yu stretched out his hand to touch the man, and said, "Okay, let's go." Sure enough, after being touched by Bai Yu, the man recovered immediately. Now, everyone understands. It's not that Bai Yu really has no spiritual power, but he doesn't want to cure them. However, there is no such thing as spiritual power, and there is no way to expose him. If someone insists that the spiritual power is just enough to heal this person's injuries, what can you do? You fool me. Qin En was furious. Don't talk nonsense, I don't have one, I was just doing it just now, it's fine now, I don't have spiritual power anymore, just wait a little longer. Bai Yu stands out. Poochie. Luo Xin didn't hold back all of a sudden, and burst out laughing. "Ah, I'm sorry, I just remembered a funny thing, you guys continue." Luo Xin hastily explained, but anyone with a discerning eye knows what she is laughing at. Luo Xin's smile was obviously like pouring a bucket of oil on top of Qin An's anger, making him completely unable to suppress it. "Today, no matter what method you use, you must cure my brother. Otherwise, you won't be able to get out of here." Qin An stepped forward and grabbed Bai Yu by the collar. Issues related to his face can no longer be used to reason. If Bai Yu has spiritual power, he will be cured, if he has no spiritual power, he will be beaten. "Qin En, let him go." Of course, Mu Ru couldn't just watch Qin En bully Bai Yu like this, and walked quickly to Bai Yu's side. The members of Mu Ru's team will naturally not lag behind. They have long been unhappy with the people in Kanan's team. It would be great if they could have a fight today. Qin An's domineering style is obviously not popular in No. 3 middle school, but due to the power of his family, no one would disagree with him at ordinary times. But today he is guilty of public anger. It's true that Bai Yu got paid. But the people he healed were real. The wounded and teammates all agree. At this moment, seeing that the atmosphere became tense, many teams gathered around and stood behind Bai Yu. With so many teams, whether they will all take action or not, just this momentum makes Qin En dare not act rashly. He doesn't know about others, but Moreau and the others will definitely do it. And he has been pursuing Moreau all the time, so naturally it is impossible to really fight with Moreau's team. "Oh, why are you so nervous? Isn't it just treatment? What a big deal." Bai Yu, who had been incooperative all the time, suddenly became easy to talk again, making people wonder what kind of medicine he was selling in his gourd. "You are wise." Seeing that Bai Yu was finally willing to cooperate, Qin En also heaved a sigh of relief, and after casually saying something harsh, he didn't say any more. The wounded in his squad were in unbearable pain. This person's status is no lower than him, so he can't be neglected. Come and let me see." When Bai Yu treats the wounded, he doesn't need to check the injury. As long as the skill is activated, the corresponding spiritual power will be consumed according to the condition of the injury. And when he called someone over, he obviously didn't have any good intentions. With the support of his teammates, the buddy moved to the front of Bai Yu. In normal times, he would have to complete 2 sentences. What identity? Dare to let him come over. But now that he is injured, even if he is extremely dissatisfied, he has to wait until the injury heals. At this moment, Luo Chen even hid the resentment in his eyes, and stood in front of Bai Yu honestly. "Treatment, how simple," snapped. "Isn't that all right?" Bai Yu got up, and slapped Luo Chen hard. This crisp voice spread far and wide. Everyone present was stunned by Bai Yu's actions. As arrogant as Qin En, why does she have to cowardly in front of Luo Chen? The reason is simple. Luo Chen's grandfather was the principal of No. 3 middle school, and his father was a senior member of the Education Bureau. Luo Chen was also stunned by Bai Yu's slap. Since he was a child, no one has slapped him in the face. He even suspects that this is not true. But the disbelief in the eyes of the people around him is telling him that all this is not an illusion. "You hit me." At this moment, he didn't know what to say, and subconsciously expressed the disbelief in his heart. No, I'm treating you. If you don't believe me, if you take 2 steps, will the pain stop?" Luo Chen subconsciously took 2 steps, and it really didn't hurt anymore. But when he stretched out his hand to touch the back mound, he found that the injury was healed, but the broken giant sword fragments were still stuck in his buttocks, as if he had a shining tail. Ah! A painful cry came from Luo Chen's mouth. You wanna die? Luo Chen finally couldn't hold back anymore. The injury is healed now, but if he wants to get this thing off, he must be injured again. This kid definitely did it on purpose. Did Bai Yu do it on purpose? There is no doubt that he did it on purpose. Except that Bai Yu was a good baby when he returned to the orphanage. Outside, he has always been a problem boy. If he was bullied by others, if he didn't express himself, then he wouldn't be Bai Yu. Why are you so unreasonable? You were the ones who insisted on me treating the wound. If I died, you would still beat me. Now that I have been cured, you are still not satisfied. Are you deliberately finding fault? Bai Yu also stood up with his neck. Although his level is not high now. Even after treating so many people and gaining a lot of experience, it was only level 7. But he acquired a lot of physical attributes, especially after treating the Macho A. He came here just after being injured by the leader of the Zon level. The remaining strength from the wound didn't dissipate too much, it was all absorbed by Bai Yu. Awakening skill, he only has 1 now. But in terms of physical fitness, he would definitely not be inferior to these 2 strong men of strength. Of course, it is under the condition that the opponent does not use the awakening skill boost. But this is already exaggerated enough. In the strength department, even if they don't use skill boosts, their physical fitness is much stronger than others at the same level. Even the veterinary department, which is also good at physical fitness, can't compare with them. It is definitely an exaggeration for Bai Yu to have the physical fitness of a yellow-level strength awakener. The people present are all students. Even if they fight with their hands, it is impossible to really fight like a life-and-death fight on the battlefield, with all the skills and means, and exhausting all the skills. If we really want to fight, it will probably be the same as fighting with ordinary people. It depends on who is stronger, who is more flexible, and who is more resistant to beating. What are you doing? What are you all doing? It depends on the tense atmosphere in the field, and it is about to start, but the teacher's voice came over. The exam has been going on for a while, and the results of many teams have come out, so the teacher went over to count the results. As a result, not long after I left, this happened. The teacher's voice came, the crowd dispersed, and 3 teachers walked in. These 3 are all teachers in the 3rd year of high school. All of them are above level 40, and they are heavenly experts. The prestige of the 3 teachers among the students is still very high. In today's world, if you have some power, it's okay to bully ordinary people, but the strong will not be affected by secular power like you. Therefore, Luo Chen and Qin and can still act like a boss among the students, but they have no confidence in front of the teacher. A conflict that was about to break out was terminated by the arrival of the teacher, but Qin and Luo Chen obviously did not intend to give up just like this. You wait for me. After throwing down a classic villain's exit quote, the 2 left with the team. Trouble Bai Yu, there will be plenty of time in the future. Anyway, Bai Yu is a student in No. 3 middle school, so he can't escape. The most urgent thing is to find a cure, help Luo Chen pull out the spikes on his buttocks, and then treat him again. What are you doing around here? You think you've done well in the exam, don't you? Qin and Luo Chen left, but the others hadn't dispersed yet. The teacher glared and roared, and the students scattered in despair. Bai Yu, let's go first. Be careful, you offended Qin and the others, they will definitely find an opportunity to trouble you. If you have any troubles that you can't solve, you can come to me at any time. Mu Ru and the others also left, but before leaving, they became friends with Bai Yu and told him to ask her for help if he needed anything. Naturally, Bai Yu would not refuse to add a beautiful woman as a friend, so he immediately took out his mobile phone and added Mu Ru as a friend. During this process, Bai Yu discovered that Moreau's house might not be simple. People don't use low-end mobile phones, but watches. The watch is directly connected to the system network, no operator is required, and there should be no time when the signal is not good. However, mobile phones still have to rely on the 3 major operators. In places like elevators, there is no need to have a signal. The students who finished the exam went back to their respective homes, and those who didn't finish the exam are still working hard. Bai can't leave for the time being, he has to wait until all the students have finished the exam before he can leave. Chapter 21. Combat students don't need to take the college entrance examination for several days, one day is enough. Bai was busy until after 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and then it ended. After a busy day, Bai understood that the healing department is not easy. The team at the very beginning were all stronger and more confident, so they would directly enter the mirror space exam at the very beginning, so there were very few injuries, unless they were full of curiosity about the mysterious leader like the Moreau team and went to the exam by themselves. Only those who die will be injured. Or like Luo Chen, who didn't know what outrageous actions he did to the leader of the third stage, causing them to destroy their weapons, and they wanted to kill him all at once. Others were rarely injured, but the teams after that were different. Those who procrastinated and refused to start the exam were probably not confident in their own strength. Therefore, the further back, the more wounded. It was so much that Bai's spiritual power could not last, and he had to meditate to recover. But on this busy day, Bai's harvest is big enough. First, the level has risen to level 8 and is close to level 9. Then there is the power transformed from the second talent, which improved his physical fitness a lot. It's not Bai Chui, even against the strength system of the same level, even if the opponent uses skill enhancement, he is not afraid. The busy day finally came to an end. After the last discussion on team tacit cultivation, Bai returned to the house that Yan Yan and the others rented as a matter of course. After entering the door, I realized that the last room that had never been opened was now open. Yan Yan and Luo Shui were moving some quilts inside, while Xiao Xiao stood at the door holding a large wardrobe, thinking about how to put it in. Have you bought furniture? Why are you buying it now? There are only 4 rooms in this house, which is not enough to live in. Isn't it good to find another house after the holiday and then buy furniture? Bai didn't step forward to help move things, of course he was fine. But he didn't want to expose his super physical fitness for the time being, so he was lazy. Anyway, with Xiao Xiao's strength, it won't be tiring to lift that wardrobe for a day. Go back to the room, take your clothes and go into the bathroom. Hey, wait, Yan Yan's voice came from behind, but it was still too late. Bai had already closed the bathroom door. But before Bai could lock the door, the bathroom door was pushed open, and Yan Yan rushed in, and before Bai could see clearly, she picked up a small dress and ran out. Although he couldn't see it clearly, Bai also understood what it was. In the past, only she and Luo Shui lived here, so it doesn't matter if you throw away your underwear. But now that Bai has moved in, Yan Yan hasn't had time to change her habit. She didn't remember until she saw Bai enter the bathroom. The moment Yan Yan interrupted, Bai turned on the water flow switch, took off his clothes, and let the water wash over his body. In the mirror, through the hazy mist, he could see the changes in his body. Although the former Bai often fought, his body was not strong, he just relied on his self-healing ability and his aura of not being afraid of getting hurt. Now that Bai's body has been strengthened, his muscles are perfect. Neither looks thin and weak, nor is it as strong as a bull like the strength department. With a slight effort, every muscle is like drawing, full of strength. Bai is very satisfied with his muscle lines, but he doesn't intend to show them off. After taking a shower, he still wears long trousers and long sleeves to cover up his muscle lines. Aren't you insane? On a hot day, wear long-sleeved trousers. Amidst Yan Yan's muttering, Bai returned to his room. Wearing trousers in summer, isn't Bai hot? Of course it's hot. However, he also has his own way, that is to stay by Luo Shui's side. Because of personal attributes, Yan Yan's side is warmer all year round, while Luo Shui's side is cooler. Bai also discovered an advantage of their team. There are 2 portable air conditioners. Get closer to Yan Yan in winter, it's warm. Get closer to Luoxu in summer, it's cool. Well, and, in case of danger, stay closer to Xiao Xiao, be safe. Bai, who came to school after a night's rest, felt a different atmosphere in the class. As the summer vacation approached, the emotions of the students were also different from usual. They gathered together in 2s and 3s to discuss how to spend this summer vacation. At first Bai didn't pay much attention to it, after all his summer vacation has already been arranged, and the team is almost assembled. However, he suddenly felt something unusual among these people. Usually when he is in class, not many people pay attention to him, but today, someone will always glance at him veiledly, and there is a hint of unkindness in their eyes. Bai Yu wondered, did he offend anyone? After some observation, Bai Yu discovered that these people were boys headed by Lin Zhang. Lin Zhang is the boy who once mocked Bai Yu as a joke. But although Lin Zhang looked at Bai Yu a little disliked at ordinary times, he had never looked at him with such malicious eyes. Could it be? Bai Yu thought of a possibility. When the class bell rang, Bai Yu returned to his seat and leaned against Xiao Xiao. Xiao Xiao, from today onwards, we are teammates. You said, as teammates, shouldn't we help each other? Xiao Xiao was taken aback by Bai Yu's words, then looked at him vigilantly, thought for a while, and after confirming that there was nothing wrong with Bai Yu's words, she nodded slowly. Since this is the case, if someone wants to beat the healer in your team, as the main force of the team, do you want to help? Bai Yu said again. Xiao Xiao think again. That's right. The positioning of the power system itself is the crispy output and treatment in the cover team. When Yan Yan pulled her into the team, she also made it very clear to her. Xiao Xiao nodded again. That's fine, let's go to class. Under Xiao Xiao's inexplicable gaze, Bai Yu stared at the blackboard intently, as if listening to the class seriously. Xiao Xiao always felt that something was wrong, but after thinking about it for a while, she found that there was nothing wrong with it, so she stopped struggling and began to listen to what the teacher said. After the college entrance examination, it is the turn of Senior 1 and Senior 2 to take the final exam. At this time, the teacher has nothing to say. The main thing is to tell the students to maintain their state, perform normally during the final exam, and pass the test to their due level. The final exam consists of two parts. First, show off your skills. That is to display one's awakening skills, and then be evaluated by the teacher. According to different people, the same awakening technique can also produce different effects. It depends on how big your brain is, and whether you have unconstrained creativity. The second thing is to fight in actual combat. No matter how fancy the skill display is, it cannot reflect its value without being tested in actual combat. The first stage of scoring is based on creativity, and the second stage is based on practicality. During the whole morning, the teacher basically made arrangements for the exam, and the rest of the time, the students went to self-study. The exam was held on the second day, and it was rare for everyone to be free during this day. Everyone was not really idle during this idle day. Except for some people who have already set a team, everyone else is hesitating whether to form a team by themselves or join someone else's team. Bai Yu's team was short of one person, and Bai Yu didn't know the three recommended by Lao Wu, so he didn't get in touch. However, taking advantage of this time, you can go and see the house. One is not far from the school, it is convenient to go out of the city to level up, and it can accommodate 5 people. Naturally, it is impossible for Bai Yu to go alone to look at the house. The 4 members of the team are all together, especially Yan Yan. She strongly asks to go together. After all, she does not believe that Bai Yu can choose any good house. The 4 of them walked out of the school gate amidst Yan Yan's chattering voice. While the 4 of them were waiting for the bus on the side of the road, Bai Yu discovered that Lin Zhang had surrounded him with the 4 of his team. Is there something wrong? Yan Yan was the first to speak. For Lin Zhang, Yan Yan didn't have any good feelings at all. It can even be said that the 2 are deadly rivals. There are only 2 fire elements in the class, and no lightning elements. Hence, the 2 are considered to be the 2 with the strongest offensive power in the class, and they are also in competition with each other. So far, the 2 have not officially faced each other in actual combat training. The other opponents were not enough for the 2 of them. Since entering school, both of them have maintained a record of unbeaten victories. But Yan Yan is a girl after all, although her personality is also very outgoing, even hot, but compared to Lin Zonglai, she is still a bit less flamboyant. Lin Zhang often regards himself as the number 1 in his class, which makes Yan Yan very upset. She has always wanted to face Lin Zhang in actual combat training, so that he can know who is the number 1. It's a pity that it has not been able to do so. Now that Lin Zhang came up with an unfriendly expression, Yan Yan naturally stood up without hesitation. It's none of your business, go aside. Although Lin Zhang really wanted to fight Yan Yan, but this time his goal was not Yan Yan. He didn't dare to neglect what the one asked him to do. If it's done well this time, maybe we can get some connections. At this point, Bai Yu also guessed who is behind Lin Zhang. If you have to say who he has offended recently, then Qinan and Luo Chen are undoubtedly at the top. It's just that he didn't expect their revenge to come so quickly. In terms of being rich and powerful, Qinan and Luo Chen, in front of the real rich second generation, might not even be worthy of carrying shoes. But Lin Zhang also has his own considerations. He is very clear about his position. In this era of national awakening, he is nothing more than an ordinary person who can fight a little, and he is nothing in front of those big forces. Bai Yu, on the other hand, is an ordinary person with special abilities. So the treatment that most people want to please, in his opinion, is nothing more than that. Those real rich second generations, or the rich first generation, with his current ability, have no chance to contact them at all, so let's start with the lesser ones. As long as he can catch up with Qinan, there will always be a chance to meet people of a higher level in the future. A person's position determines his vision. Just like now, he has never seen a master above level 50. When he reaches his own level, then he will be surrounded by people like this. Qinan is a springboard for him to go to a higher level. Bai Yu, you are not very capable, but you are quite capable of offending people. Ignoring the clamoring Yan Yan, Lin Zhang looked at Bai Yu with a hint of teasing at the corner of his mouth. He was always unhappy with Bai Yu. Isn't it just a broken treatment? He has no combat power at all, and was offered up by the school like a treasure. For a fire awakened like him, it's too easy to kill a healer, isn't it? Now that Bai Yu has offended someone he can't afford, Lin Zhang is naturally very happy. It's hard to say whether I'm capable or not, but your ability to be a dog has been revealed in advance. Bai Yu won't take advantage of others. Who do you call a dog? Lin Zhang is angry. Who knows, why are you so anxious, did you step on your tail? Bai Yu's meaning is obvious, he is talking about Lin Zhang, but his mouth is full of the appearance of Lin Zhang himself being scolded. You, wait for me. Although he said it, Lin Zhang didn't intend to do it. The reason is very simple, Bai Yu has been shrinking behind Xiao Xiao's back, while Xiao Xiao is clenching his fists until it rattles. When students fight, they must not use the awakening skills. If they use the awakening skills, the nature will be different, and they may be directly expelled from the school. In terms of physical fitness, no one present can compete with Xiao Xiao, not even Bai Yu who has been strengthened many times. So Lin Zhang didn't dare to do anything at all. In other words, he was waiting for someone. Wait, are you waiting for your master to come? Sorry, I'm not free. With that said, Bai Yu stepped forward, pushed Lin Zhang away, and was about to leave. He knew that if Lin Zhang didn't do anything, apart from being afraid of Xiao Xiao, it was more likely that he was waiting for Qinan and the others. If Qinan brings people here, I'm afraid it will be a disadvantage. On their side, when it comes to fighting alone, he and Xiao Xiao are definitely not afraid, but Yan Yan and Luo Shui are of the elemental system with the worst physical fitness. Lin Zhang didn't expect Bai Yu's strength to be so strong, and thought that the strength of the healing department was at best similar to him, so he didn't dodge, but was pushed to the ground by Bai Yu. Want to go? When Bai Yu pushed Lin Zhang away and was about to take people away, the beast transformation department in Lin Zhang's team stopped Bai Yu. Lin Zhang's team is all about attacking, with 4 elements and 1 beast transformation. The only one who can react so quickly and stop Bai Yu is this beast transformation system. Why don't you go? Do you want to treat me to dinner? Bai Yu was talking, but he didn't stop under his feet, and directly bumped into him. The corner of the beast's mouth twitched. Hit me. Are you afraid you didn't wake up? A garbage treatment department, want to compare physical fitness with the veterinary department. Therefore, when Bai Yu bumped into him, he puffed up his chest and did not dodge or dodge. His beast transformation direction is a tiger. Even if he does not turn on beast transformation now, his body is much stronger than ordinary people. But it was as if Bai Yu hadn't seen it, and bumped straight into it without even moving his shoulders. Boom! A muffled sound. Bai Yu collided firmly with the boy from the beast department. To everyone's surprise, Bai Yu, who thought he would be knocked back, had nothing to do with it. Instead, the veterinary boy was knocked back 4 or 5 steps. With disbelief in his eyes, he looked at Bai Yu, who was covered in clothes. He was knocked back by a healing department. Catch him, don't let him get away. Just when Bai Yu bumped away the veterinary boy and was about to leave, a loud shout came, waking up the startled crowd. Lin Zhang reacted quickly. He stepped forward to pull Bai Yu's clothes, but Bai Yu dodged him. But his action also attracted other people. Several members of Lin Zhang's team reacted and began to intercept Bai Yu. Bai Yu saw that Qin and Luo Chen were rushing here with a few people not far away, and knew that there was no longer any delay. When they came, they would be surrounded and it would be difficult to run away. Especially the 2 strong men behind Qin, relying on the power system above level 10, even if they can't use the awakening skills, they will still be at a disadvantage in the fight. Bai Yu kicked Lin Zhang away with one kick, and punched another person back. He rushed forward, grabbed Yan Yan and Luo Shui's little hands one by one, and shouted, "Run!" Xiao Xiao reacted quickly. Seeing Bai Yu dragging Yan Yan and Luo Shui away, she immediately followed. Chase. Seeing that Bai Yu was about to run away, Qin led his men to chase him too. "Brother Lin, are we still going after him?" Here, the members of Lin Zhang's team looked at Lin Zhang, who was clutching his stomach and bowed like a shrimp, and asked. "Chasing a fart." Lin Zhang gritted his teeth and spit out a sentence. He was kicked by Bai Yu almost out of breath. Now he can hardly stand up. How can he chase him? Besides, the task of helping Qin and hold Bai Yu down has been completed, and the next step will be handed over to Qin and the others, so he won't join in the fun. Helping Qin and deal with his classmates is not a glorious thing, and he didn't dare to do too much. Where's Xiao Wu? One of them suddenly remembered the other who had just been knocked back by Bai Yu's punch. He is now lying on the side, leaning against the lamppost, and has been silent for a long time. Little 5. One person went up to shake him, found no response, panicked immediately, stretched out his hand to test his breath, and found that he was still breathing, so he was relieved. It's really crazy. Looking at his teammate who was knocked out by Bai Yu's punch, and Lin Zhang who couldn't straighten up for a long time, and thinking about the moment when he knocked himself back just now, the boys of the veterinary department felt that the world was a little crazy. The 3 quickly helped Lin Zhang up, then carried Xiao Wu and left, and they didn't get involved in the rest. Bai Yu pulled one with each hand and used the speed to the extreme. The poor Yan Yan and Luo Shui were dragged and ran, and they couldn't keep up with their bodies. Although Bai Yu started early, he was quickly caught up by Xiao Xiao with 2 oil bottles. Although Xiao Xiao is a strength type, her speed is not slow at all. The speed of the agility department is fast, that's the speed. When others take a step, he has already run 4 or 5 steps. Can you not be fast? But the strength department is fast in the stride length. The strong strength of their legs can make their stride length exaggerated, and one step can beat others by several steps. Xiao Xiao can catch up so quickly, then Qin and others can imagine. The people led by Qin and also had 2 strength systems, and their levels were above 10th level, and their physical fitness was stronger than Xiao Xiao who was less than 10th level, so Bai Yu and the others were quickly overtaken. What are you running for? After being dragged and ran for a long time, Yan Yan, who was already out of breath, finally broke free from Bai Yu's clutches. The group of people came for me, why don't they run away? Waiting to be beaten. At this point they had already run into a dead end, so there was no need to continue running. It's coming for you, not for us, why are you dragging us away? Yan Yan stared at Bai Yu. Also, let go. Yan Yan pointed at Bai Yu and held Luo Shui's hand tightly. They stopped running, but Bai Yu still didn't let go. Luo Shui's hand was a little cold, but also very soft and comfortable, which was why Bai Yu was reluctant to let go. At this time, Yan Yan pointed it out, and Bai Yu reluctantly let go of it. Luo Shui didn't pay attention at first, but after Yan Yan pointed it out, a rare blush appeared on her face. At this time, the entrance of the alley was blocked by Qin An's people, and Xiao Xiao stood at the front, confronting the other side. Boy, come out, don't hide behind women. Qin An pointed at Bai Yu and said. Manly man, if you can't say it, you won't come out. Instead of going out, Bai Yu shrank behind Yan Yan's back. Nothing to grow. Qin An looked at Bai Yu with disdain. Hey, I don't want to talk nonsense here, you won't know until you try it. Bai Yu is still on the skin. Too lazy to talk nonsense with you, call me. With a wave of Qin An's hand, the two power systems rushed forward, while Xiao Xiao stood in front of them without giving an inch, not letting them pass. Well, you look for him, don't you hit us. Yan Yan stepped forward and grabbed Xiao Xiao, telling her not to be impulsive. Of course, how could I do anything to a beautiful woman? How about adding a friend later? Qin An put on a pose that he thought was handsome. Haha, good, next time for sure. Saying that, Yan Yan took Luo Shui and Xiao Xiao and ran away, leaving Bai Yu alone in the wind. It's too disrespectful, they are teammates anyway, although the team has not yet fully formed, but everyone has lived together for several days, and they just left him and ran away. Bai Yu secretly cursed a few words in his heart. However, he was also relieved that the three girls could leave safely. Although the other party has only 1 or 2 more people than them, but the level is really suppressed. Once they fight, they are definitely not opponents. Even if the 3 women stay, they can't change the ending. Well, don't slap your face. After finishing speaking, Bai Yu squatted down naturally, as if he had practiced this movement many times. Don't worry, it's impossible not to slap your face. Give me a hard beating. Qin An smirked. Let you be arrogant, let you be frightened. Although Luo Chen didn't speak, but looking at Bai Yu who was about to be beaten, he subconsciously touched his butt, with a look of relief. Although Luo Chen really wanted to go up and do something, being the boss requires the air of a boss. It is up to Qin An to handle the matter of negotiating. How can he do the rough work of beating people by himself? Fall. So, Luo Chen put his hands in his pockets and leaned against the wall, looking at Bai Yu who was about to be beaten, with a dark expression on his face. Except for Qin An and Luo Chen, the other 3 surrounded Bai Yu, ready to beat him. Unexpectedly, Bai Yu, who was cowardly like a dog at first, suddenly exploded, bursting out with a strength and speed that shouldn't be possessed by a healer, and knocked the 3 people away in front of him directly. No one expected that Bai Yu, who was alone, would dare to make a move, so, unexpectedly, no one reacted. The 3 people surrounding Bai Yu were knocked back again and again, while Qin An and Luo Chen, who were watching the play, watched Bai Yu rushing towards them, at a loss for what to do. Hey, what caught their eyes was Bai Yu's handsome and cunning face, with a tricky smile on it. When Bai Yu rushed up, Qin An instinctively hesitated, and finally decided to go up. Both he and Luo Chen are elemental, so they are at a disadvantage in melee combat. But there is also a healer on the opposite side, what is he afraid of? It's a pity that he forgot that Bai Yu's healing system is correct, but this supposedly weak healing system broke through 2 strength systems just now. Therefore, when he went to meet him, it was Bai Yu's iron elbow that greeted him. Bai Yu has a lot of experience in fighting, and he knows that he must not delay at this time. Once he is delayed, the 2 power systems will follow, and he will have no chance. So he hit hard directly. Poor Qin An felt as if his eyes were dark, and he was smashed and fell under the wall, unable to recover for a long time. After throwing Qin An back with an elbow, only Luo Chen was left in front of Bai Yu. Although Luo Chen didn't say much the whole time, judging from the attitude of Qin An and others towards him, he was the leader of this group. To capture the thief first, to capture the king, especially in the case of using less to fight more, the most important thing is to restrain the opponent's important figures and let the opponent throw the mouse. Otherwise, Bai Yu would have no chance of winning if the 5 opponents beat him to 1. Luo Chen has the wind element. If he activates the awakening skill, his movement speed cannot be kept up by Bai Yu. But now he didn't even show his talent, Bai Yu was already in front of him. And when he planned to develop his talent and become a wind element, it was already too late. Bai Yu's hand had already caught his arm. The talent skill is a very powerful skill, and if used well, its effect is no less than that of the awakening skill. If he activates his talent before Bai Yu touches him, then Bai Yu will have nothing to do with him, his outstretched hand can at most catch a ray of breeze. But now that Bai Yu has come into contact with him, then, the disadvantages of talent skills are revealed. There is a limitation of elemental talent skills, that is, when they come into contact with other life forms, they cannot be turned into elements, because the talent skills are set like this, they can only act on themselves, and have no effect on other life forms or even objects. At this time, even if the full level boss at level 99 came, it would be impossible to elementalize Bai Yu together. After Bai Yu grabbed Luo Chen, without the slightest hesitation, he fell directly over his shoulder, smashing Luo Chen to the ground heavily, and then took a step forward to hold him down. At this time, Bai Yu cut Luo Chen's hands behind his back. One hand was pressing down hard, and the other was pinching his throat, making it difficult for him to breathe, and his face was flushed red. "Don't move, otherwise, when I get nervous, I don't know what I will do." Luo Chen's teammates were about to step forward to rescue them, but after hearing Bai Yu's words, they also froze. This fool actually threatened them with Luo Chen. But they had to be threatened, and they dared not gamble. If Bai Yu was a dumbass and really broke Luo Chen's throat, then Luo Chen would really be finished. When Luo Chen is finished, Bai Yu will definitely not be able to escape, and he will definitely go to jail, but they should not think about it. There is no doubt that if something happens to Luo Chen, they will definitely be implicated. "You, don't be impulsive." Qin Anqiang at the side said something. Bai Yu's elbow just now was really not light, it directly broke the bridge of his nose, causing him to be dizzy now, and his speech is still in a low voice. "Don't worry, as long as you don't provoke me, I won't be impulsive, but if you move around, I can't guarantee that I won't do anything out of the ordinary. I know that murder is against the law, but I don't know if you will kill me. After all, I offended you a lot. Everyone is a young man, and it doesn't matter how serious the attack is. If any brother confiscates it and stops it, I will be gone. If I had to choose, I'd choose to pull it back." When Bai Yu spoke, his tone was very calm, but in line with his current posture and the look in his eyes when he raised his head to speak, there was a trace of indescribable ferocity. Qin and the others were shocked. No matter how brave and ruthless you are usually, you will bully some weak people who don't dare to fight back. Even if you fight occasionally, it is a battle of spirits between a group of impulsive young people. But on Bai Yu's appearance, there was a ruthless will to pull Luo Chen to death together, so how dare they act rashly? "Let go of him first, let's talk if we have something to say, let the past go, let's not mess with the river in the future, don't hurt Luo Xiao, or you can't afford the consequences." At the critical moment, it was Qin who stood up and spoke. But in his words, he revealed his nervousness towards Luo Chen everywhere. It can be seen that Bai Yu caught the right person. "Let go of him. You think too much, I can't let him go until I'm sure I'm safe. If you don't want anything to happen to him, then you all have to be honest. Now, step back and stand facing the wall." Bai Yu directed the movements of Qin and the four of them. They didn't want to cooperate at first, but Bai Yu exerted a little force on his hands, and Luo Chen's face turned into a liver-colored color, which made them have to follow Bai Yu's instructions. "That's right, everyone cooperate, so we won't get hurt." When Bai Yu saw that Qin and the others followed suit, he let go of his hands a little. Luo Chen, who held back for a few seconds, panted heavily. Being held down by Bai Yu, he had difficulty breathing. If you pinch your neck again, you won't be able to breathe immediately. These few seconds, he felt longer than years. In the more than 10 years of his life, he has never felt so close to death for a moment. Luo Chen could no longer arouse any desire to trouble Bai Yu, he just prayed that this guy would let go of himself quickly, and then he would go as far as he could, and he would walk around Bai Yu whenever he saw Bai Yu. This is what Luo Chen thinks in his heart. But Bai Yu doesn't know. Bai Yu even felt like he was riding a tiger. Let go of Luo Chen and run. Absolutely not, the opponent has 2 strength elements and 1 wind element, so he definitely can't run. Take Luo Chen with you. Then the other side will follow him all the time, he can't really kill Luo Chen, can he? Break the law, so, just keep pressing. Some are not elegant. What are you doing? Bai Yu, don't let go yet. Just when Bai Yu was in dire straits, a voice came, even though it was yelling at him, it made him feel like the sound of nature. Bai Yu has never liked Lao Wu as much as he does now. Even when old Wu brought him into No. 3 middle school, he was never so happy. Following old Wu's voice, old Wu's slightly thin body also appeared at the entrance of the alley. Behind him, Yan Yan poked her head out and made a face at Bai Yu. It seems that she ran to find old Wu. Along with Yan Yan, Xiao Xiao and Luo Shui were also there. In the beginning, When Yan Yan dragged Xiao Xiao to run, the innocent Xiao Xiao even complained that Yan Yan was not loyal. After all, she had promised Bai Yu that teammates would help each other. Luo Shui didn't say anything, and she usually didn't speak. Although she didn't speak, she understood very well in her heart. Luo Shui, who had a particularly good relationship with her, understood Yan Yan's ghostly thoughts thoroughly. Seeing that Yan Yan pulled them out, instead of running to the house, but to the school, she knew what kind of plan Yan Yan had in mind. Fights don't exist. She is going to sue the teacher. Yan Yan didn't have any pressure to play this kind of tricks played by children. She ran directly to Lao Wu's office, and rushed in without even knocking on the door. Old Wu was taken aback by the sudden intrusion. Secretly thought that luckily the old man walked well and sat upright, otherwise, something serious would happen. Yan Yan, who entered Lao Wu's office, couldn't catch her breath, so she quickly described Bai Yu's situation. He even added fuel and vinegar, plus his own speculation about the situation at the time, and directly told Lao Wu that Bai Yu was about to be beaten to death. After learning about the situation, Old Wu couldn't sit still, so he immediately came to the rescue under the leadership of Yan Yan. But after arriving, I realized that the situation was a little different from Yan Yan's description. What Bai Yu was about to be beaten to death? This kid was riding on Luo Chen's back, the one who was about to be killed was Luo Chen, right? Old Wu naturally knew the principal's grandson. In fact, to be honest, Luo Chen is really not arrogant at school, the one who is really arrogant is Chin and who borrows his name. Luo Chen himself is relatively low-key, unless someone offends him, such as Bai Yu. Everyone envied him that he had a principal grandfather, but only he knew the pain. Doing good deeds and earning face, that's what he should do. If he behaved a little badly, he would lose his grandpa's face. Old Wu didn't expect that the people Yan Yan was talking about were Luo Chen and his gang. Perhaps in the eyes of the third-year students in high school, Luo Chen's team is not a good person. But in the eyes of the teachers, this group of people can be regarded as good babies. It's because they usually pretend well. Seeing that Luo Chen had been pinched by Bai Yu and began to roll his eyes, Lao Wu came back to his senses and let out a roar that attracted everyone's attention. When the teacher came, the fight would naturally fail. Boy, can you spare me some trouble? On the way to bring Bai Yu back, Old Wu put on a serious face, wishing he could slap Bai Yu to death. Why don't I let you worry? Is someone else going to hit me? I can't fight back yet. They can testify. In order to make his words more convincing, Bai Yu pointed at the three of Yan Yan and said, HMPH, every time I see you, you cause trouble. I remember that the day before I brought you into school, you were fighting with others. Old Wu said, aha, ha, don't bring up the past again. Bai Yu made a ha. The final exam is tomorrow. Don't run around. If you need anything, call me. It's not like you don't have my phone. Although Old Wu had a straight face, he was still worried about Bai Yu's safety. Oh, don't worry, if there is any trouble that can't be solved, I will trouble you as soon as possible. Bai Yu is not restrained at all in front of Old Wu now. In the past, he felt that he was useless, but Lao Wu took him into the third middle school, but he was useless. Now, he is finally about to rise, so in front of Old Wu, he is very relaxed. Old Wu has nothing to do with Bai Yu. Bai Yu has been a good-for-nothing for a year, and it is not only Bai Yu who feels indebted. So is Lao Wu. If he didn't bring Bai Yu to know 3 middle school, how could Bai Yu be looked down upon everywhere? But now, both of them untied their knots and got along like friends. After parting with Lao Wu, the 4 of them continued their journey of looking for a rental house. It is really difficult to rent a house with 5 rooms. Who makes so many rooms? So, they were left with 2 options. First, rent that kind of old house, with a hallway, a row of single rooms on both sides, and a shared toilet on the first floor. This kind of environment is nothing to Bai Yu and Xiao Xiao. But for Yan Yan and Luo Shui, whose living conditions were relatively good since they were young, it was a bit difficult to accept. Therefore, they can only choose the second option, renting a villa. The gap between renting a villa and an old house is huge, but it is still affordable for 5 people to share. Bai Yu has just finished his duty for the college entrance examination, and he has a salary of 2,000 yuan, which is still affordable. It's just a rent, not a purchase. After the house is found, it is naturally ready to move in. Everything in the villa is basically complete. Although no one has lived in it for a long time, the owner should ask someone to clean it regularly. The room is very clean and there is no smell. Naturally, it was not Bai Yu's turn to assign the room. Although he was the team leader, he had too little right to speak. In the end, the 3 girls lived on the second floor, and Bai Yu lived on the first floor. As for the last team member, although it is not yet known who it is likely to be a man. After all, the 3 people recommended by Old Wu were all boys. So, a room was reserved for him on the first floor. Bai Yu, who lived in the villa for the first time, was very excited. Looking at the magnificent decoration and the expensive furniture in the room, he felt a little restrained. But it didn't take long before this feeling disappeared, because these things were just the same thing when they were used. After the novelty passed, they were no different from ordinary things. After tidying up their rooms, the 4 of them sat in the spacious living room on the first floor and discussed the leveling plan. Leveling, of course, is to go to the leveling area. Although there are many beasts in the wild, not every place is suitable for leveling. In the non-leveling area, unless you encounter aggressive beasts, such as wolves, other hares and pheasants, you don't have much experience in killing them. In the leveling area, all beasts, no matter how big or small, are experienced and not low. However, the concentration of beasts in the leveling area is very high, which also represents danger. How about going to Fengming Mountain? Now that Bai Yu has become the captain, he still has some work to do. For example, what are the leveling areas around Wuchang? You can know it by surfing the internet. After comparison, Bai Yu still thinks Fengming Mountain is more suitable. Fengming Mountain. You mean the Fengming Mountain that is full of caves and humming when the wind blows? Yan Yan has also heard of several leveling areas around Wuchang, but she only knows a little about them. Yes, that's the one. Those caves effectively separate monsters of different levels and types. This is very beneficial to us, so that we don't accidentally break into the area of advanced monsters during leveling. Bai Yu said. What Bai Yu said is very reasonable. There are countless accidents due to leveling every year, most of which are caused by mistakenly entering the leveling area where other high-level beasts exist, and being brutally killed by wild beasts. Humans can kill beasts to upgrade, and beasts can also be upgraded by killing humans. This is relative. Therefore, the beasts in the leveling area are all aggressive. That's true, then it will be in Fengming Mountain. Yan Yan agrees. Luo Shui didn't say anything, and she probably wouldn't speak unless she strongly objected. And Xiao Xiao is much simpler, listen to what you say. After the leveling area was agreed upon, the 4 of them went back to their respective rooms. Tomorrow is the final exam, so we still have to pay attention to it and prepare for the battle with enough energy. The next morning, the 4 of them came to the school. The content of the exam in the morning is the demonstration of awakening skills. Although we are classmates, we basically know about each other's awakening skills. But the power of awakening skills also increases with proficiency. Even if everyone is at the same level, those who practice more will have more powerful awakening skills. After the team assembled, Bai Yu saw Lin Zong's team in the crowd. At this time, several people's faces are not good looking. Obviously, after being beaten up by Bai Yu, they had other encounters afterwards, because Bai Yu saw 2 slap marks on Lin Zong's face. In fact, after Bai Yu and the others left yesterday, Luo Chen and the others also left. However, he met people from Lin Zong's team. Lin Zhong was kicked by Bai Yu, feeling very upset. But after seeing Qin and Luo Chen, he still went forward with a smile on his face and asked for credit by the way. After all, he was the one who dragged Bai Yu and the others to arrive in time. As for what happened later, Lin Zhong felt that there was no need to think about it. 4 guys who are not even at the 10th level can't make any waves in front of the 5 yellow levels. So, he didn't expect Luo Chen and the others to suffer a big loss from Bai Yu's hands, and they couldn't say anything about it. Lin Zong's flattery didn't work out, but Luo Chen and the others got into trouble instead. Luo Chen, who was full of anger and had nowhere to vent, gave Lin Zhong 2 big mouths on the spot. Now Lin Zhong is full of grievances and doesn't know who to talk to. Of course, Bai Yu naturally didn't know about these situations. No matter how wrong Lin Zhang is, he still has to take the test. Now it's the first item of the final exam, the Awakening Skill Show. It's a show, of course, it's impossible to just stand up and throw a skill for everyone to see and it's over. Therefore, the teachers pulled out a target drone and placed it in the center of the examination room. The target drone is specially made. After the attack hits the target drone, there will be a damage assessment display, which is regarded as a reference value for the teacher to score. After everything is ready, the exam will officially begin. After the teacher announced the start, within a short time, no one stepped forward. At this time, Lin Zhang is usually the one who goes up first, because he likes to show off the most. But Lin Zhang was in a bad mood today, so he lost the interest of showing off, so there was a short silence. Ahem. Is there any student willing to be the first? If not, I'll call the roll. Old Wu cleared his throat and said, "Let me do it." Just because Lin Zhang doesn't make it doesn't mean others won't. Before, it was because Lin Zhang was used to taking the lead, so no one came out for the time being. Now that after waiting for so long, the teacher started urging him not to come, so Yan Yan would naturally be rude. Yan Yan walked to the target drone and stood still, took a deep breath, and after a little planning, her eyes locked on the target drone. Awakening skill. Fireball burst. A fireball the size of a human head formed in front of his chest, pushed by Yan Yan with both hands, and flew towards the target plane. Boom. A violent impact sound came out, and a value was displayed on the target drone, 54. But this is not the end. Yan Yan's fireball has a burst effect, and with a roar after the impact, the target drone with a metallic luster was blown to blackness, and the number on the display screen of the target drone also changed to 54 to 80. 54 is the direct damage value when the fireball hits the target. And 80 is the damage value after the fireball explodes. Of course, Yan Yan's final score was not calculated like 54 plus 80, because it was 2 damages from the same skill. The teacher naturally had a reasonable plan on how to calculate it. After Yan Yan's awakening skills demonstration ended, many students actively went on stage, showing off their awakening skills. But the 3 people that Bai Yu needs to observe have not played for a long time. There is no way around this. The 3 are basically assassins, and their skills don't have any powerful sound and light effects. They look ordinary, so they won't be in a hurry to express themselves. There are nearly 50 people in Bai Yu's class, and there are not a few of them with repeated attributes. However, even if they belong to the same series, the first awakening skills may not be the same. Some are more offensive, and some are more functional. Therefore, the test function of the target drone is not limited to the attack power. After several people in succession, another person Bai Yu was a little more familiar with arrived. Lin Zhang, after being depressed for a while, finally couldn't hold back his desire to show, and walked up. Awakening skill. Fireball Lianju. Lin Zhang's first awakening skill is the same as Yan Yan's, both are fireballs, but their characteristics are different. Yan Yan's fireball has a burst effect. After touching the target, it will explode, causing secondary damage that is more powerful than the fireball itself. However, Lin Zhang's fireballs did not have this effect. He released 3 fireballs in a row. With the release of Lin Zhang's awakening technique, a larger fireball dragged 2 smaller fireballs and crashed towards the target drone. Bang bang bang. After 3 muffled beeps, a numerical value also appeared on the display screen of the target machine. 564141. Looking at the data alone, it doesn't mean who has better skills, Lin Zhang or Yan Yan. However, the damage of the first fireball is slightly higher than that of Lin Zhang. Looking at the value on the display screen, Lin Zhang's face looked a little better, and he walked on. After Lin Zhang came down, Xiao Xiao went up, stood in front of the drone, and stretched her muscles. Awakening skill. Double power boost. The strength system is to exert one's own strength as much as possible, so most of the awakening skills of the strength system are to increase strength, which can be used to increase one's own strength or give it to others. The first awakening skill is usually doubled, and it will be 5 times when the second awakening skill is used. Although it was only doubled, Xiao Xiao's own strength was too strong. With the boosted punch hitting the target drone, there was a loud bang, and the target drone was thrown back 2 meters. And the value on the display jumped out of an exaggerated number. 105. This is the first number breaking hundreds since the exam. It can be seen how strong Xiao Xiao's strength is. The total stats of Yan Yan and Lin Zhong also exceeded 100, but their attacks all have subsequent bursts of damage. And Xiao Xiao's boxing, just this time. Old Wu looked at Xiao Xiao's stats and nodded in satisfaction. Xiao Xiao is only at level 8 at present, but his punching power is no worse than that of the 10th level strength system after opening the first awakening skill. This is due to her talent skills that are different from other power systems. She is born with supernatural power, and her power base is larger than others. Even if it is only doubled, it is terrifying. Compared to Yan Yan's flaunting after returning from the exam, Xiao Xiao was much more low-key, went out quietly, punched her, and came back quietly, standing beside Bai Yu. Bai Yu looked at Xiao Xiao's burly figure, which was half a head taller than himself, and suddenly felt a sense of security. After Xiao Xiao finished showing, Luo Shui went up. Her first awakening skill is Ice Spike, which is to gather ice elements to form a sharp ice thorn, stabbing the enemy. Awakening skill, Ice Spike, Scatter. Luo Shui's voice was cold as the icicles she shot. But Bai Yu thought it sounded good, maybe because Yan Yan quarreled so much every day, and now she occasionally heard Luo Shui's voice, so she thought it sounded good. Luo Shui's ice thorn also has a high level of proficiency. It was supposed to be a single ice thorn, but she trained it into several pieces and shot them together. 30, 30, 30, 30. 4 ice thorns shot 4 numbers on the target machine, not high, but still amazing. Of the 4 existing members of Shuiyu's team, 3 of them have completed the demonstration, leaving Bai Yu as the only one who hasn't moved yet. But he is not in a hurry, he is a healing department, what can he show? Afterwards, many students went out to show off their awakening skills. In addition to the skills that can directly cause damage, there are also many auxiliary skills. For example, the acceleration of the wind system, the stone skin of the earth system, and the iron skin of the gold system. There are also various control skills. What fixed body, dizziness, deceleration, slow, all kinds of strange abilities were displayed one by one. Although everyone's level is not high, their abilities are very complete, and they practice very hard. As for auxiliary or control skills, the target machine no longer displays the numerical value, but displays the specific effects of its awakening skills on the screen in the form of text for everyone to understand. This target machine stores all the awakening technology data known to human beings. As long as it is used and detected by the detector on the target machine, it can be displayed accurately. Time passed, and after dawdling for a long time, Chen Feng, among the 3 people Bai Yu wanted to see, finally stood up. Chen Feng is an awakener of the wind element. His first awakening skill is an auxiliary skill. After the display, the information also appeared on the screen in due course. Awakening skill, Cloud Body Wind Body. Increase target movement speed by 60%. This skill is actually very strong. Maybe it doesn't work very well on Chen Feng himself, but if it is used on Xiao Xiao, then let's learn about the humanoid tanks that move at high speed. After Chen Feng, Chu Jie also went up to show off his awakening skills. Chu Jie is a quiet-looking boy, clean and handsome. Of course, Bai Yu felt that he was far worse than himself. Chu Jie's skills are a bit special, because his Shadow Escape is a talent skill, and his first awakening skill, Shadow Escape, requires Shadow Escape as an assist. Logically speaking, as an awakening technique, Shadow can be used on targets that are unexpected to him. But Yu Ying can't bring people who don't know how to escape into the shadow. Therefore, this is a relatively special awakening skill. If the opponent is also a member of the Shadow Department, then the Shadow can take effect. When Chu Jie was using the Shadow, he was also using the talent skill Shadow Escape. The skill has no sound and light effects, just so silently, Chu Jie sank into the shadow of the ground, as if diving into the water. Then, it appeared from another shadow that was not connected with this shadow. It was very weird. Others may be a little repulsed by this weird skill, or even afraid. Because no one wants a person to appear silently behind them. And Bai Yu looked at Chu Jie, and stars almost appeared in his eyes. How good is this ability? It is not limited by the terrain, as long as there is a shadow. There is no need for a ladder to go to the room. As for the last Lu Xin, Bai Yu also paid attention. His awakening technique is just like what old Wu described, wherever he can see it, it is there in an instant. However, Bai Yu's speculation that blindfolded can't move has not been confirmed. After all, showing skills is to show the strength of one's skills. No one will show the disadvantages of their skills to everyone. The first stage of the show ended soon, and just when everyone thought that the second stage of the battle was about to begin, old Wu spoke. Bai Yu, why don't you show off your awakening skills? Hearing what old Wu said, most of the people in the class looked at Bai Yu in surprise. So far, only a few people know that Bai Yu already has the awakening skill. So when they heard old Wu called Bai Yu to show, they all looked at Bai Yu in amazement. I want to show it too. But there is no target, otherwise, which one of you will get hurt first? Bai Yu swept across his classmates expectantly. However, no one seems to be willing to cooperate. I come. Yan Yan likes to join in the fun, as if she is afraid that the world will not be chaotic. As soon as he finished speaking, he punched himself in the stomach. I can't do it anymore, I'm going to die. Of course Bai Yu could see that she was just putting on a show. But he still cooperated and walked over, reached out and tapped her stomach. Awakening skill. Magic hand rejuvenation. Of course, this is what Bai Yu yelled, but the skill has not been activated yet. Alright, then, Bai Yu clapped his hands, meaning he was cured. And Yan Yan also stood up straight in cooperation. The actions of the two of them made the whole class stare at each other, not knowing what they were doing. Old Wu is also a black thread. Nonsense. Bai Yu, use healing skills on the target drone. Old Wu really couldn't stand it anymore. Seeing old Wu's dark face, Bai Yu stopped messing around, walked to the target drone obediently, moved his body in a pretentious manner, and then performed the magic hand rejuvenation on the target drone. All the students were very curious about Bai Yu's sudden awakening ability. Bai Yu can be said to be the only healing department they have ever had contact with. It's a pity that he has never had an awakening skill, so everyone hasn't seen what a healing skill looks like. As a result, I saw Bai Yu moving around, and then went over to touch the drone. Awakening skill. Unknown. The words on the display made everyone a little confused. Unknown. What's the meaning? The target machine stores all the known awakening technology data of human beings, how could there be an unknown? If Bai Yu didn't perform the awakening technique, then there would be no spiritual power fluctuations, and would not be detected by the target drone, and the display should be blank. Now that the target drone responds, it means that Bai Yu really used his skills and was captured by the target drone. But the spiritual fluctuation frequency of this skill is not in the target drone database. That's why it shows unknown. Everyone is guessing. Ahem, since you can't detect it, then you can tell the effect yourself. Old Wu said. He also didn't expect that Bai Yu's healing skills were not in the database. In other words, Bai Yu's treatment system may be a brand new system. It is different from the various light systems, water systems, and wood systems in the past. The number of healing coefficients is not much, even if it is the healing skills of the three conventional healing systems, it is difficult for ordinary people to have the opportunity to see it. And Bai Yu is actually a new healing system. Lao Wu felt a little excited. Old Wu's own strength is not strong, he is almost 40 years old, and he is only level 39. However, as a teacher, his own strength is secondary, as long as his teaching experience and ability are sufficient. More importantly, Lao Wu has enough experience and insight. The data in the target machine is the sum of all the skills of human beings since they entered the era of national awakening. Maybe in the first few decades, some unknown skills will appear. But with the development of 100 years, the summary of the skills of all awakened people in the world has been completed long ago. Even the skills possessed by some particularly mysterious people are recorded. Even if there is no specific effect description, at least there is a name. Besides, in addition to some related humans, the mysterious system is also making statistics for the summary of these skills. Human beings have not had a new skill system for decades. What does the emergence of a new system mean? Lao Wu is very clear. He really picked up a treasure for No. 3 middle school. Of course, Lao Wu was the only teacher present, and the other teachers were queuing outside with their own classes. Therefore, Lao Wu is the only one who can have such a cognition. The other students were not so shocked. They just felt that an unknown skill was revealed, which is very powerful. Since Lao Wu asked, Bai Yu didn't hide it. After all, he himself didn't know what a new treatment system meant. Awakening skill. Magic hand rejuvenation. The effect is that it can heal a single target and recover non-fatal injuries, but it needs to touch the target. Bai Yu briefly described his skills. The effect is similar to that of other systems. However, Bai Yu did not say a word, that is, there is no sequelae. After Bai Yu's skill demonstration was over, Lao Wu took the students and left. They were going to the actual combat training room for the second stage of the exam, and it was time for other classes to take the exam here. In actual combat confrontation, some people are happy and some are worried. The one who is happy is naturally a powerful classmate like Yan Yan and Lin Zhang. Worrying, of course, is those students whose awakening skills are more supportive. No matter what, you still have to fight. And during this process, Bai Yu didn't pay much attention to the powerful students in the class. In the same class for 1 year, although Bai Yu has never participated in actual combat, he has long been tired of watching it. He is more concerned about the fifth member candidate in his heart, Chu Zhe. The arrangement of opponents is random, so no one knows who their opponent is before the start of the fight. And Chu Zhe's luck doesn't seem to be very good. The next game, Chu Zhe of the Shadow Department will fight. When Old Wu read this, he frowned slightly. It seems that Chu Zhe's chances of winning against this person are very low. Old Wu knew that Bai Yu was looking for a fifth person, and he recommended Chu Zhe. Now is the time to observe Chu Zhe's strength. If the loss is too ugly, I'm afraid I won't be able to see anything. Lin Zhang. In the end, Old Wu still frowned and pronounced the name. The match list has been arranged long ago and sealed, no one can know it in advance, and can't change it. Lao Wu is a teacher, even if he cares about Bai Yu, he can't do such things as favoritism and cheating. To be honest, it's not that Chu Zhe has no chance to fight against Lin Zhang, but the chances are too slim. Lin Zhang's attack power is too powerful, and his awakening skill is Lianju Fireball. As long as he seizes the opportunity, with Lin Zhang's powerful attack power, it is entirely possible to take away Chu Zhe directly. After Lao Wu reported the match list, Lin Zhang had already arrived on the field. Here, it can be regarded as Lin Zhang's home court. From his awakening to the present, he has never lost in this training room. Therefore, he instinctively thought that he was the king here. Chu Zhe. Lin Zhang did know him, but this guy who was usually a transparent person in class didn't deserve his attention at all. Chu Zhe is usually very low-key. There is nothing worthy of high profile about the shadow system. Neither can kill the quartet in actual combat like the fire department's power department. It can't be like Bai Yu. Even if he has been useless for a whole year, he will still be noticed. He is like a shadow. If you look carefully, he is there. If you don't pay attention, you really won't find such a person in the class. After Lin Zhang came on stage, Chu Zhe also walked out. Hurry up, what are you dawdling about? Hurry up and call it a day. In normal times, Lin Zhang wished to delay it a little longer. But today his mood is not beautiful. So, let's make a quick decision. Lin Zhang thought in his heart. Although Lin Zhang's fighting style is aggressive, he is not strong. This is a common problem of elemental systems. Although Chu Zhe is not an aggressive type, he has a well-proportioned figure. It can be seen that he has been exercising regularly. After hearing Lin Zhang's words, the gentle-faced Chu Zhe didn't express anything, just glanced at him, and then walked a little faster. Lin Zhang is very satisfied with this. Start. Following Lao Wu's order, the battle officially began. Without hesitation, Lin Zhang rubbed out 3 fireballs, 1 big, 2 small, and threw them at Chu Zhe with his hand raised. This time, Lin Zhang's 3 fireballs were not lined up in a straight line like when his skills were displayed. Instead, it was in the shape of a pin, and it hit Chu Zhe. Lin Zhang's intention is obvious, which is to block all Chu Zhe's dodging directions. And Chu Zhe is now in the arena, and there seems to be no shadow around him for him to escape. Oh no, yes, there is his own shadow. The lights in the actual combat training room are very bright and shine from several directions, making everyone think that there are no shadows in the competition field. However, the moment Chu Zhe lifted his foot, a black shadow appeared under his feet, and this is a place where the light cannot reach. Under everyone's gaze, Chu Jie sank into his own shadow strangely. Then, disappear. With the disappearance of Chu Jie, the fireball released by Lin Zhong had no target and hit the shield on the edge of the playing field. Little sparks dissipated in the air, and Lin Zhong's expression turned into astonishment. Disappeared. Of course, Lin Zhong knew Chu Jie's ability. After all, he had just demonstrated his skills just now. The reason why he is so confident is because there is no shadow in the arena, which is equivalent to directly abolishing Chu Jie's ability. But now, Chu Jie just disappeared before his eyes. It's not scary to disappear. What's scary is that he doesn't know where he will appear from. Lin Zhong looked around the playing field. There was no one else in the field except himself. He moved cautiously, trying to stay away from places where shadows might be cast. But he didn't notice that as he raised his feet again and again, black shadows appeared one by one under his feet. The atmosphere on the field was extremely tense, and even the students watching the battle couldn't help but hold their breath and concentrate on watching everything on the field without daring to blink, for fear that at the moment of blinking, Chu Jie would not know where to come from. Come out. Bai Yu watched the game on the court with great interest. He doesn't know where Chu Jie will come from, but at least Chu Jie has taken the absolute initiative now, which is good news. His future teammates, naturally, the stronger the better. Just when everyone's eyes were sore, Lin Zhong raised his foot again, ready to change his position. And at this moment, a shadow emerged from the black shadow formed under his feet. And as Lin Zhong turned around, it was like a real shadow, attached behind Lin Zhong, turning around with him. So, after Lin Zhong turned around, he still didn't see anything. Fireball Lianju. Although he didn't see anyone, Lin Zhong seemed to have eyes behind his back, and instantly condensed two fireballs, smashing towards his back. Does Lin Zhong really have eyes behind his back? The answer is of course no. Although he didn't have eyes behind him, there were dozens of pairs of eyes present helping him observe Chu Jie's tracks. As long as someone discovers Chu Jie, there will naturally be a change in expression. Lin Zhong deduced that Chu Jie was behind him from the expression change of a certain classmate after Chu Jie appeared. I have to say that Lin Zhong is really talented in fighting. In such a short moment, he deduced Chu Jie's location, and condensed a fireball without hesitation. He didn't pursue the maximum output, condensing 3 fireballs. He couldn't do it instantly. Therefore, he only condensed 2 fireballs. Lin Zhong's reaction was quick, but Chu Jie's reaction was even faster. In other words, what Chu Jie relied on was not his reaction, but that he had already expected such a situation before he appeared. As an awakener of the shadow system, Chu Jie is very cautious, because he knows that he does not have an invincible attack power, nor an unbreakable defense power. All he has is this unexpected attack method. The reason why Chu Jie hid for so long was not that he wanted to wear down the patience of his opponent in this way. Rather, he can't get out. The effect of phantom combined with shadow escape is indeed very good and powerful. But Chu Jie is just a high school student in the 7th grade. After he entered the shadow, he naturally wanted to get out of the shadow under Lin Zhong's feet. In this unexpected way, he caught Lin Zhong by surprise. The previous plan was really smooth. He used the shadow created when he raised his foot to cast shadow escape. However, when he wanted to come out, he realized that things were not as simple as he imagined. Lin Zhong is constantly moving, and shadows are constantly being produced. But the time for the shadow to appear was too short. Lin Zhong tried several times, but failed to get out of Lin Zhong's shadow. Just when he was about to lose his composure, Lin Zhong finally moved slowly, causing the shadow to take a long time, allowing him to catch the opportunity. So, here he is. Appeared behind Lin Zhong. He still holds a dagger in his hand. Of course, Chu Jie didn't want to kill Lin Zhong, but his own attack power is limited, so he can only use weapons. After avoiding Lin Zhong's fireball attack, Chu Jie, like a ghost coming out of the shadows, gently stuck the dagger on Lin Zhong's neck. The cold touch from the dagger made Lin Zhong shiver uncontrollably. Although it was summer, the creepy feeling made Lin Zhong get goosebumps all over his body. Admit defeat, or die. Chu Jie's voice was like a demon walking out of the 9 Netherlands, whispering in Lin Zhong's ear. Chu Ji's voice was the last straw that overwhelmed Lin Zhang. This proud guy who was invincible in the actual combat training room actually tremblingly said the words he thought he would never say. I surrender. Lin Zhang seemed to have exhausted all his strength when he said this. After he finished speaking, he fell to the ground as if he had collapsed. Several members of Lin Zhang's team hurried forward and helped Lin Zhang down. Lin Zhang's spirit was hit, but his body was not injured. He just rested aside and did not need Bai Yu's treatment. Competition is over. Chu Jie wins. After Lao Wu announced the result of the competition, he looked at Bai Yu. Why are you looking at me? Are you going to let me go up and fight? Bai Yu was so stared at by Lao Wu that he was so hairy that he almost went up. It's not that he can't fight, but he doesn't intend to reveal his fighting power, mainly because it's too difficult to explain. A healer with a physical fitness that is not inferior to the strength department, he is afraid of being dragged to Slice for research. Old Wu was taken aback by Bai Yu's unconstrained ideas. Of course he didn't intend to let Bai Yu, the healer, go up to fight. What he meant by looking at Bai Yu was, how about this person I recommended to you? Did you find the treasure? Bai Yu is naturally quite satisfied with Chu Ji's performance. However, if you want to pull Chuj into the group, you have to see Chuj's own intentions. Bai Yu believes that no one will reject a healing team. The next game was still fierce, but Bai Yu was already absent-minded. He has already begun to conceive how to speak to Chu Jie in his heart. Another point is, does Chu Jie have a team now? If Chu Jie already has a team, asking him to give up his existing team and join his side would be a little unreasonable. In one morning, Bai Yu's class completed both stages. When the final exam was over, everyone breathed a sigh of relief. No matter how you do in the exam, it's a foregone conclusion anyway. It's useless to worry, it's better to relax and enjoy this rare summer vacation. And Bai Yu also found Chu Jie, who was about to go home after the exam. Is there something wrong? Chu Jie looked at Bai Yu, who suddenly appeared and blocked him, not knowing what he wanted to do. For Bai Yu, Chu Jie didn't have a particularly deep impression. When he first came to the class, because of his special status as a doctor, it caused a sensation for a while. Later, because he didn't have the awakening skills, he disappeared from everyone, and he went to class and slept all day, and his sense of existence was not much stronger than him. Student Chu Jie, today's competition is very exciting. Bai Yu stepped forward and said a few polite words first. Good. Although his mouth was humble, the smile on the corner of Chu Ji's mouth was telling his inner emotions. Defeating Lin Zhang is indeed a big achievement in their class. Even Chu Jie himself, before the start of the game, thought about not losing too badly. Student Chu Jie, let's not beat around the bush. The summer vacation is coming soon. The students are all forming teams to prepare for the upgrade during the summer vacation. I wonder if you have a team now. After a little politeness, Bai Yu asked straight to the point about team formation. Not yet. The smile on Chu Ji's mouth gradually disappeared. Team up. To be honest, Chu Jie is not a popular candidate for team invitation. His abilities allow him to walk only in the shadows. He can neither fight the beast head-on, nor has the ability to assist and enhance the strength of his teammates. Therefore, so far, no team has issued an invitation to him. This is also where Chu Jie is worried. If there is no one to form a team, he will go to the leveling area alone, basically looking for death. But if he doesn't go out to level up, his level will definitely be dropped a lot when the next semester starts. At that time, all the classmates will be yellow grades, but he himself will not even have a grade. How embarrassing. Then are you interested in joining my team? Bai Yu's words made Chu Jie stunned. Bai Yu, as a healing department, if it was before, it would make sense to invite him. After all, both of them belong to the type that no one wants. But now Bai Yu has demonstrated his awakening skills in the exam, and now Bai Yu is a real healer. People who want to form a team with him definitely need to queue up. Why did he come to form a team with him? Could it be that there is a conspiracy against oneself? However, after thinking about it for a long time, Chu Jie didn't think that there was anything in him that was worthy of Bai Yu's scheme. Could it be? Chu Jie thought of a possibility, immediately looked Bai Yu up and down, and then looked at him with vigilant eyes. What are you thinking? There are already 4 people in my team, and the professional mix is reasonable. Now I plan to find another member of the assassin class. I watched your battles before. You are very good, so I want to invite you to form a team with us. Seeing Chu Ji's vigilant eyes, Bai Yu couldn't help rolling his eyes. There are 3 beauties in my brother's team, would he be interested in you as a man? Yes, 3. Xiao Xiao is actually just a little burly. In terms of looks alone, she is definitely a beauty, otherwise she wouldn't be molested by gangsters. It's just that other people are Sailor Moon, and she is Sailor Warrior. Only one more. Who is in your team? Let's say it first, the team configuration is too bad, I won't go, even if you are the healer. It is absolutely impossible for a team to be supported by only one person, so Chu Jie also wants to know exactly what configuration Bai Yu's team is. If Bai Yu is arrogant because he is a healer, and he randomly recruits a few support teammates, wouldn't he go in and accompany them to destroy it? Don't worry, the team is definitely a dream combination. The DPS in the team is Yan Yan, who has awakened the ability of the fire element. Lin Zhong is the only one in the class who dares to say that he can compete with Yan Yan in DPS. How is it? Is it strong? Bai Yu said as if showing off. Well, strong. Chu Jie has no doubts about Yan Yan's output ability. Who dares to say that the fire element is not strong? Since Yan Yan is in my team, Luo Shui, who has the best relationship with her, is naturally also there. The Ice-type ability Awakener, although there is no control skill now, but you know the characteristics of the Ice-type, set output, control and defense in one, is it strong? Is Luo Shui strong? Do you still need to ask? Of course strong. Therefore, Chu Jie nodded again. Well, strong. Hearing Chu Ji's answer, Bai Yu nodded in satisfaction. The 3rd place, there are basically people with abilities from all departments in the class, but there is only one person with special talent skills, and that is Xiao Xiao from the strength department. Although Xiao Xiao is just a girl, her fighting power is absolutely outstanding. Whether she is an attacker in offense or a front row tank in defense, she can do it well. Do you think she is strong? Bai Yu said again. Xiao Xiao's strength is unquestionable in the class, among other things, that physique alone is extremely oppressive. Well, strong. Chu Jie nodded again. The 4th one is me. As the only healing department in the whole school, you can recover in an instant when you receive non-fatal injuries. At the same time, as the captain and the spokesperson of the team's image, I am also responsible for the appearance of the team. Is it strong? Bai Yu not only praises others for their hard work, but also praises himself without hesitation. Strong. If Bai Yu's bragging aside, he is really strong. A team with healing and such a reasonable match is indeed what many people want to join, and Chu Jie is no exception. At this time, Chu Jie has already moved his heart. The last one, Shadow-type assassin Chu Jie, whose body is like a ghost and whose form is like a ghost. Taking the enemy's head from among thousands of troops is like picking something out of a bag. Is he strong? Anyway, all the praises are over, there is no shortage of him, so Bai Yu also praises Chu Jie. Strong. Hearing Bai Yu praise himself so much, Chu Jie felt a little embarrassed, but finally nodded and said loudly. Should such a strong team be invincible? Should our eyes jump out of this school and look at the world? Seeing that Chu Jie had already regarded himself as a member of the team, Bai Yu immediately stopped dividing, and directly grabbed Chu Ji's shoulders and started bragging about it. This is a bit exaggerated. Chu Jie is still awake, and has not been fainted by Bai Yu's rainbow fart. You see, in our team, we need a calm person like you, a rational person who can't be defeated no matter what kind of sugar-coated shells. Okay, with your joining, our team has been formed, and the next step is to level up. Go back and pack your things, and then move in and live with us. Since they are teammates, they naturally need enough tacit understanding. What else can cultivate tacit understanding than getting along day and night? Recruiting Chu Jie went well, so Bai Yu began to prepare for leveling. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.